Okay, hi. No, I didn't cut my hair. My hair is soaking wet. I apologize for it. I just got out of the shower and it's soaking wet. Um, Hi, Kathy. Hi, Janice. Hi, Miley. Hi, Honey Hush. Sean. Flower Girl Phillips. Nora. MC Camps. Tammy. Karen. Debbie. Gail. What else do we have? Twiggy Piggy. Karen. Kiki. Liz. McCarley Kate. Donna. Ranger Red. Erica. Did you? Okay, no, I answered your question on that. Just Alice, Linda Irby, Little Packet, hello there, Ginger Spice, Nora Cindy, Carol Clark, Ivy Lynn, Truth Teller, no, I was mute until I come on there. Nana Patty, July 7, welcome. Karen Knowles, hello there, Mary Beth, Tam Lynn, Fergie, Lori Beth. Let's see, who else did I get? Remy's Mimi, hello there. Leanne, Louisiana Lady. Okay, so let's get a few more people in here and make sure we have a moderator, because I think it might be a little nuts. Every time I literally think of when we were in school and the teacher did the roll call. Hey, Danielle, say there's our moderator, Debbie. Deborah Barron, Kathy from Texas, Bobby Blue Eyes. Okay. So, how many of you know about the this new project, fake feature film that Cindy, Ronnie, Chris, and Jamie have embarked on with a less than savory character? I haven't been on YouTube at all today, and I got wind of this in the morning through Facebook, but I haven't been on, so I just did my research on who this guy was, and that was enough to make me sick. But do I like my chair? Yeah, I like my chair. It has a lumbar support and stuff. I'd like a big massage chair like FoxyBot has, but you do, Danielle? Okay. You guys have no idea? Not heard. You heard last night? Okay. All right, well, apparently what it seems to me is that when People Magazine has really gotten downhill, okay, because they do the things that almost Radar Online does, where they just cite a family source, and it says that Chris was triggered by the Netflix documentary, and we knew that he wanted he wanted himself back out there. And we started to see a little bit of that, but, well, now they really wanted themselves out there. And even Jamie, who remember when she just wanted to be left alone? Well, she doesn't want to be left alone now. She wants to thrust herself into the spotlight. So I have my own reasons, but I am sure that they time this to let the Netflix drop, and then they're going to come and follow. I'm sorry. There's so much I can say. I'm really trying to hold myself. But let me show you what's going on here. So I'm going to give you some links in the chat that you can open. Okay, and we're going to go through some of these here. So the first one is going to be this guy's public Facebook page, which I'm going to put the link in there. Public information, this Facebook page. What are you guys doing? So let me see here. Where's the chat? So we've got this. I don't know what they're doing with like this but Jimmy's doing these, cranking up these things. You hear that tapping, all this crap noise? Okay, sorry. Stop with the noise. It's not funny. What are you guys doing? What are you all doing? Hi, Nana T. Hi, Extra Good Citizen. So that, I want you to open that up with me. Now, if you can open that link. And you'll see on the top of the header, he's got, you know, I'm going to pull this over. Okay, this is again, this is a public Facebook page. So he's got this final chapter and he's trying to do this like a movie. Okay, now, but let's look at this guy, editor-in-chief and chief content officer at Your Content. Keep your eye on that, okay? Former national correspondent at the National Enquirer. He has this. You see how he has this like build here as if it's a movie, okay? This is like that iMovie stuff, I think, that we've seen on some channels. I don't know what they are doing with all those noises. It sounds like they're playing badminton. It sounds like they have noise makers and... Okay, and everybody's supposed to be in bed. That's why everybody's up, and Jimmy too, so I don't know what they're doing. But okay, 2 hour, now look at this. Family confession, 2 hour family confession that will rivet the nation. They're really reaching on that, aren't they not reaching on that? Okay. So I'm going to pull this back here because I am going to go through some things here. So if you click on the this one, you'll go to Your Content. Don't think he's any big person because this Your Content is just his little thing. It's like that guy that interviewed Michael Long, and it looked like people thought it was a news channel. It was one guy, and along the same lines, that guy had a rap sheet so long. The guy that that's funny, that interviewed Michael Long. Well, wait till you hear about this guy, okay? But this is his other Facebook page, which I'm going to give you right now. Okay, that's his Your Content page, okay? That's what he's the editor-in-chief of. Okay, I'm the editor-in-chief of Mommy Ramblings too. So this is just crazy, but wait till you see his true character. Okay. So if you go to Your Content page, he's got a Facebook event. For the first time ever, hear from the entire Watts family in a world-exclusive prison sit-down with the most hated man in America. Okay? Premiering October 23rd on Facebook and YouTube. And the three of them smiling on the phone, right? Official trailer. Oh boy, it's wonderful, isn't it? And you know what I think is hysterical? You remember how they made Jamie out to be this that? She looks exactly like Cindy. Exactly, but she has blonde hair. I'm surprised she even, I don't know. And Ronnie's wearing the Steelers jacket in there. So it says, here's some excerpts. They had nothing. They had a theory. That's all they had. Just know how proud we are of you. We're proud of you, Chris. And that's supposedly his father talking to him. And then Cindy's little excerpt, it says, we support you 100%. We know what she was like. And she's smiling. And then Chris's excerpt is, well, that's just the way it is. Try walking a mile in my shoes. That's all I have to say. And so he posts some, what I believe that if you scroll down, he has some pictures of a baby eating a supposed brain in a bucket of fake blood that he thinks is endearing. Okay, now he changed his Facebook because his Facebook had a picture of his 2 kids. But let me get to, there's one other thing I'm trying to get to over here before we go to the next thing. Oh, Jamie's line is, "This is not the end of your story. So please do whatever you need to do to find your voice and just do what you need to do, okay?" And now I'm trying, let me go over here. So let's read about this character that they're working with. So back in July of 2019, Nicholas, and I'm not even going to attempt that last name, a Pennsylvania man posed, hold on, let me get his picture up here. Pennsylvania man posed as a Good Morning America producer and New York Times reporter to obtain government documents, prosecutors said. Nicholas, and I'm not even going to pronounce H, I'm going to call him, who has a history of impersonating government officials and journalists, was charged Wednesday with numerous offenses, including tampering with public records and forgery. Nicholas allegedly created several fake email accounts in April to reach out to the Delaware County District Attorney's Office, posing as Stephanie Wash, a producer from Good Morning America, and Liam Stack, a New York Times reporter. In the emails, Nicholas asked for a comment about a decades-long scheme involving government agencies and attempted to obtain government documents. The next month, Nicholas posted a racist email on his site, YC News, that's your content, purportedly from a supervisor in the Delaware County Adult Probation and Parole Services. Investigators determined that that email, which used the N-word, was fabricated by Nicholas. Delaware County District Attorney Kat Copeland said Nicholas will use any means to create his false narrative. Boy, he's just perfect for that Watts project, isn't he? Because they do need a false narrative. Prosecutors said he has a rap sheet that includes using a burner phone to make prank phone calls, doctoring videos from rappers like Ice-T and Snoop Dogg as false evidence, and used forged paperwork to obtain a vehicle license plate that identifies him as a journalist. Okay, real upstanding guy there, right? Okay, but that's not the end of him. Now, in March 4th of 2020, the state attorney general takes over the Nick the Hat case. That's his nickname, N-I-K the Hat, okay? So the Pennsylvania, I just lost my place here. The Pennsylvania Attorney General's office will take over prosecuting a man who allegedly produced a bogus racist email and attributed it to a Delaware County adult probation and parole officer in a news story last year. Delaware County District Attorney Jack Stolzheimer, elected to the post in November, said the move was taken out of an abundance of caution because the case was raised in the context of his campaign last year. Nicholas, also known as Nick the Hat, age 25, of the 700 block of Cedar Grove Road in Broomall, is facing charges including tampering with public records, identity theft, forgery, attempted theft by deception, and unsworn falsification to authorities. YC News posted the email, that's your content, with a story May 25th claiming it came to light as part of a request under the state's right to know law to inspect electronic communications between all Delaware County law enforcement agencies. The story claims the email was from 2015 and was between several county officials and a current department supervisor where they accidentally carbon copied a probationer. Former District Attorney Catayoun Copeland said in announcing the charges last year that Nicholas created the email using his computer in a doctored template of a county email that he received while on probation for harassing his neighbors and making false reports in 2015. Sounds like one heck of a guy he got here. Nicholas was represented by defense attorneys Mark Much and Joseph Lesniak, has denied the charges, and representatives for YC News, that's his blog, okay, your content, have stood by the story. That's him standing by the story, which remains posted on the site, his site. And it's scheduled for trial for May 18th. That would have been 2020. While announced the charges, Copeland, a Republican, also lashed out at Solzmeyer and other Democratic candidates for holding a press conference shortly after the story broke to denounce the email, if true, and call for an independent investigation into its source. Okay, let's see here. Let's go to see what happened at his after that now. That's I don't know if it got delayed because of the virus. So that's what I'm trying to figure out here. And I think that's might be where it is. Let me see this. What is this about? Hold on a second, I see something else here. When was this from? I'm trying to get the date on this. Oh, there's more something with drug charges with him. Let's see. But I'm thinking that it was continued due to the virus. I can't see anything. Facing 3 counts of felony tampering with public records, 3 counts of tampering with records of identification, forgery, 2 counts of identity theft, attempted theft by deception, theft of property lost, mislaid or delivered by mistake, receiving stolen property, prohibitive offensive weapons, and 4 counts of unsworn falsification to authorities. Let's see here. Through the investigation, authorities determined he used forged paperwork to get a Penn Department of Transportation specialty plate, identifying him as being employed full-time by a news agency by the DA's office. On June 5th, a CID detective spoke with a supervisor at the Delaware County Adult Probation and Parole Office who advised that Nicholas had been supervised by their office as a result of Nicholas's arrest and conviction for several counts of false reports to law enforcement and harassment. On June 24th, authorities executed a search warrant at Nicholas's Broomall home. When taken were numerous electronic devices, a printed email from the Delaware County probation supervisor, and a stolen police-style taser with 2 firing cartridges that was the property of the local Delaware County Police Department and was fired in June of 2019. The investigation into his electronic devices showed that his Apple iPhone contained parts of the fake emails that were used to create and send and receive emails using the fraudulent accounts and the names of the legitimate Good Morning America producer and the New York Times reporter. He created blackout strips for purportedly redactions and placed them over parts of the supervisor's original email, dated April 25th, 2016. The DA's office said from May 24th to the 25th of 2019, he created the content of a racist email, superimposed it over the real content of the supervisor's original email, superimposed the fraudulently created email over a YC News background, and posted it on his YC News website, which is his blog again. Okay, it's not a real news website. Before that, he was charged with harassment for sending more than a dozen, listen to this, prostitutes to a neighbor in Broomall, and then reported his neighbor for suspicious activity while he watched from his home. Authorities say he used racial slurs towards that neighbor. Okay, so a real upstanding man that they're working with there. Did you guys know about this guy? Who knew, which one of you that knew about this? Did you know this guy's history? Okay, he's the one that's working with yeah, he's misunderstood just like Chris, right, Lori? Hi, Alicia. Hi, Heidi. Pretty crazy, isn't it? Isn't that crazy? Hi, Zayana. So that's nuts. Hey, Jetta. Oh, what is it, Utta? Now we know he's legit, right? Yeah, I mean, you can trust everything that comes from there, because it's not like he's ever been charged with, doing things to create a false narrative. So isn't that crazy? Now wait, there's more. There's some more. Where did I? He changed up his Facebook page because this morning he had his kids on it. All right, here's another. Okay, he's got some transcripts or this script of the this feature film. It says Watts Family Tapes, the final chapter, world exclusive. This is a public photo on the page, so that's exactly what I'm looking at. Prison sit down with the Colorado killer, Chris Watts, and family. I'm surprised. See, I wonder how the family, they probably don't like certain things that he did. And you can tell he did whatever he wanted to. So maybe they don't like that California killer. They don't, Colorado killer. And then it says featuring Colorado killer, Chris Watts, his parents, Cindy and Ronnie Watts, and sister, Jamie Lynn Williams, who, until now, managed to remain the most secretive and silent figure in terms of the two families sucked into this case thus far. Written by Nick blah, blah, blah. And then you can see it has Chris's name under his. And then there's a little bit, this is Jamie says, but I know Mom and Dad told you about the memorial stuff that we did. And did they tell you about the hawk that flew over? Now, I take such a different interpretation of this. Listen to this. Chris says, yeah, Mom said that there was after the, I think she said that Monica was saying that Cece was playing with the CD player. And Jamie says, yes, I know. I mean, every time. And there was a brand new CD player, right? Chris says, yeah. Jamie says, brand new. And every time Jennifer went to sing, it would start skipping. And Monica was like, that is Cece messing with that CD player. And then I think it was during that song that hawk, it just flew over so close. And Robert got my attention. And I mean, the hawk looked down on us. It was a pretty amazing little sight. A hawk. She's taking that as like this great sign. I'm taking that as a sign that we're watching you like a hawk and you are, like roadkill, pretty much. I don't, she's taking it as some other sign, but so let's see here. And then Chris says, that's awesome. Jamie says, and I've got 3 awesome pictures. One day I can share them with you, but I took a picture of each site, and there's a ray of light that's coming through on each picture. It's really beautiful, really beautiful. He says, that's awesome. She says, so you know. And then he says, it helps me picture it, that's for sure. Well, picture it, she says, beautiful, because it's very beautiful. Sounds groundbreaking, doesn't it? This sounds really just I don't know. This is going to be groundbreaking stuff here. And you've got such a, a man of integrity and stuff doing this. So here's another article. And this, I'm going to put this in there. This is written on his site. Guys, remember, this is his blog, okay? Which he calls a news site. It's nothing but a blog that he calls YC News. Just like that other guy that was with Michael Long and had a rap sheet as long as the end of the day. Okay, so let me get to give you this. Oh, that might be too long to put in there. Hang on, gotta shorten that. Hey, Graciela, thank you for becoming a member. Okay, let me see here. Let me go over here and shorten this so that I can give you this link to this that we're going to go through. Okay, so Angel A, it's the other way around, Mommy Rambling, so welcome, hello there. Okay, is this Tarot Buddy here? It's almost like the ones. Yeah, Ozzy Mom. Hey, Rabid Dog. Okay, hi, Glam Dolly. Hey, Lauren, Linda. All right, so let me go to this now. Hang on. So I put the link if you want to look at this with me. Read along, and at the tone, turn the page. Remember those? Okay. So, monstrous. See, I think he went ahead and did this because they probably, oh, did you have to put monstrous? And he was probably like, oh, believe me, it will sell. Monstrous dad Chris Watts was signaled to make up a story by his mother prior to pleading guilty to the murders of his pregnant wife and 2 daughters. Exclusive video obtained by Your Content, set to debut on October 23rd, reveals. What's more, Cindy Watts, age 64, claims her son has immense public support. noting she doesn't care about the murders. The Watts family tapes will premiere on Facebook Live October 23rd at no cost. Oh, wow. It's amazing. During the lengthy sit-down, distraught mother Cindy pleaded to know more about what transpired during the grisly triple murder, but was quickly shot down by Watts. You, me, Ronnie, Jamie, all of us will get through this together because we love you so much, Cindy Watts whimpered. Sounds like a children's. I don't care what you did. I love you so much, and that's all there is to it. 34-year-old Chris Watts pleaded guilty to first-degree murder and other charges in the killings of his wife, Shanann, 34, and their children, Bella, he's got the wrong age, he has her, and Celeste, before cruelly disposing of them at an isolated site where he worked. I wish I could ask you more, Cindy murmured. Maybe one day. Maybe one day, snapped Watts. Just not now. This is my decision. This is what I want. This nightmare has to be over for everybody. Cindy replied, No, I can't lose you. I want you. Then, if this is your decision, then you get in there and make something. And that was inaudible. Your story's not over. It's just the beginning of something else, Chris. But your story doesn't end here. It doesn't end here. You were made for something else. I don't know what it is yet. You are someone I always felt had a pure heart, a good soul. No one could ever say anything bad about you. You were the kindest person there ever was, the mother continued. I just wish you would have talked to us more. Watts confessed to brutally murdering his pregnant wife, Shanann, and then he puts that in there again, Bella and Cece, and they didn't even put the unborn child. Okay. He was sentenced to 3 consecutive life terms in prison plus 84 years in November of 2018 for his heinous crimes. What pictures did you use for the service? Watts asked his mother during the explosive one-on-one 2-hour special. We've already heard this. Oh, remember when we were at the splash party in Colorado? The one where Cece had turned around and I got a really good close-up picture of her? And I used that, 64-year-old Cindy said. The one with Bella at the splash pad where she was wrapped up in a blanket. She looked so peaceful, so solemn. The conversation spiraled out of control when Cindy claimed 3-year-old Celeste was a spitting image of her father who brutally murdered her. She looked so serious, just like you. You were, she was you, Cindy cried. She was you. She was you. And I know it's so hard for you. I know it's so hard for you, Christopher. I can see it in your face. I can see it in your eyes, and I will. And Chris butts in and says, It is hard, Killer Chris Watts replied. Trust me. And then she says, we support you 100%. We know what she was like, okay? We love you. And they can record all they want. The prison exclusive also showcases Watts' sister, Jamie Lynn Williams, who managed to remain the most secretive and silent figure in terms of the 2 families sucked into this case thus far. The Watts family tapes is slated to debut on your content. Yeah, your blog, Nick. Friday, October 23rd. And so, yeah. So, I mean, there's it looks like really riveting content because that's from so long. Do you know how long ago those tapes are from? And they've all been mentioned before. So this guy thinks he's got like this exclusive content. This has all been mentioned before. They haven't been there because with the virus, this is not new. He's saying this sit-down interview at the prison. This is old. Yeah, Pam W. It's a shame. It's really there's something really messed up. High time for a change. Hey, Stardust. So it's ridiculous. It really is. Oh, Tracy, you should rewind. He's a very, very unsavory character who's impersonated reporter with the Good Morning America, a reporter with the New York Times. Yeah. Go listen to the fraud, identity theft. Yeah. And it's going to be on his blog. It's going to be on Face what?
Maybe he turned a new leaf.
Yeah. Okay. And if you look at his LinkedIn and stuff, I mean, you can see it's all that's what he's a wannabe reporter, journalist that steals other people's credentials. You can rewind it, Molly. You'll hear it. The more his mother talks, the more I blame her for the... Yeah, I don't know why they act like Jamie doesn't. Jamie's like the spitting image of Cindy, except with blonde hair. Hi, Nicole. Hey, Sassy Darcy. Hey, Deborah B. Isn't what he's doing against the law? Which one? Did Nick, the guy? William Bowers, hang on. There's a couple of articles that I read about his charges, but I mean, one of his, there's a bunch of these like muckrack or something where you can put up a little blurb about yourself. So here's how he bills himself as a. Let me pull this over here. Celebrity reporter and national correspondent, American Media Inc., Radar Online. Do you know anybody can write or submit an article for Radar Online? New York, United States, which is not true, is in Pennsylvania. Arts and entertainment, crime and justice, as seen on Radar Online, AOL, National Enquirer, and Muck Rock. Live, love, laughed, make it count. FMR, national correspondent, producer and talent booker at American Media. Views expressed are my own. Soon they'll be yours too. Okay? And then listen to what he puts. Oh, here's his Twitter feed. Here's his Twitter feed. Let's go look at this. Everything you thought you knew about Chris Watts is going to be turned upside down. Yeah, Nick, I'm sure it is. We've already heard that stuff. Are you ready? The final chapter. The family confession, October 23rd. They had nothing. They had a theory. That's all they had. Just know we're proud of you. We're proud of you, Chris. Okay, so let me see here. Here's the Philadelphia Inquirer, okay? I'll put the link, and then you can follow. Just put his name in it, and you'll get article after article about his line of fraud, all right? There you go on that, okay? Who wanted that? William Bowers? They'll look for anybody, but that's who they're going to get to work with them. People like that, and that's the kind of people they gravitate towards and think is, you know, a credible person to work with. Mm-hmm. You know what, Robin? I haven't. Manager of Three Monsters, but sometimes that happens. That happened last year. It could be that she's got a lot to do with the school and the kiddies. I think they've heard from her in Slack. So, but Manager of Three Monsters, yeah, reach out and let us know you're okay. Right, Rabbit Dog, yeah. With some, yeah. But almost everything that he just like leaked out of there, we've all heard that. That was all there. When she flipped, he's talking about when she went up for the plea deal, she was saying this stuff. That's what it is. That's when they were up there. I think it's from when he went for the plea deal, when Jamie went up there. It's all the crock of you know what. Hi, Sharon. Hey, Purple Passion. Carol Clark, Liza Ward, Kathy Martinez, Cabs. Hey, Cab 7. My goodness, heavens. Those aren't donation links, but thanks, Broke. Those are links to the articles, darling. Hey, Mickey. Hi, Terry. Hey, Winter Snow Owen. Hi, Adacor. Veronica. Hey, Pilot Pete, how are you? Hey, Robin. Thanks, Robin. So I didn't get to get any more of that Joel Guy trial between that, and then I had to teach my son like 3 weeks of don't even talk about the school. I flipped out on the principal tonight. I left a message that they'll get first thing in the morning. Oh, thanks, Dizzy. I just took a shower. My hair is wet. I didn't even style it. It's soaking wet. I didn't do anything. It's all wet. So that's pretty good. Yeah, right. Can we get rid of Broke? I'll get rid of Broke. Just get rid of them because they're just a troll. Hi, Patty and Jack. Chris absolutely just wants to. And, you know, like, what is he going to do after this, though? I know, Rob, and I'm sick and I'm tired of it too. Hi, Jennifer Blue. So, just crazy. Oh my gosh. Here come the trolls. Hey, Tina. So yeah, that's what I got. I saw that today, and I was like, I looked up that guy immediately, and I'm like, oh, that's the perfect guy. Hey, Heather Ann. So just so you know that when that starts to, because it's just going to start making, oh my gosh, it's this busy. I saw he'll be exposing the innocence of Ted Bundy. Yeah, why doesn't he go after Jodi Arias? You think he would, right? So let's see what we have in other headlines. True crime. Hello, how are you? I'm okay. How are you, Heather Ann? Hi, Caroline Connor. Hi, Nora. Well, I'm sure he didn't see it, but no, from what he heard about it, I'm sure he didn't like it at all, at all. Yeah, I know, Kathy, right? Who knows how much longer that will be. Hi, Michelle. Nicobe, you're just stopping by. Hello. M. Clark, Chris. Could be pen pals, yeah. Hey, Gigi. Self-made journalist. Yeah, just like the one that covered Michael Long. But you know, the sad thing is, though, Ginger, a lot of people, you are fooled by that. That's why I want to expose that. He's not a journalist. He's a fraud. He's a fraud. He's stolen real journalists' identities to get information. But a lot of people will miss that. Just like I bet you a lot of people still don't know the truth of that guy from that Channel 37 News out of Indiana, and they think that that was a real news station that Michael Long was on, and that guy was a real reporter, and that's why, like, that kind of stuff has to be exposed, and people have to see that. There's a lot of people that just take something at face value. That's sad. Hi, Earthbound. How are you? Keep praying. So, yeah. Yeah, see, Deborah, I think that they're not going to like that they called him killer and monstrous and all those, but this is the kind of guy that they dealt with. So probably when he was dealing with them, it was a different story, but when he put it all together, he didn't care. He wants a headline that's going to sell, clicks, views, equate to money for him, and so he's going to put whatever he wants, and if they say anything, he'll be like, who the freak cares, Who cares? I don't care. And that's the way it is. cyanide, Cindy will spend the rest of her days enraged that her character assassination was found. Greetings from Norway. Hi, Britta. Yeah, keep it kind, but they don't know that. They don't know that. A lot of them don't look into credible sources. They think if someone says, I'm a journalist, and, oh, it's on your content. What is that, you know? Yeah, we did vaporize them. We did vaporize them, and his little friend Amy got vaporized as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Janet, nobody should be. Nobody should be victim bashing at all. That they are. That I'll agree with you on that, Patty. I think she has to believe that, like, she's in just total denial. Thanks, Glam Dolly. We can say freak. No, it wasn't a lawyer. They said it was a private If that was a lawyer, he needs to go back to law school. Even as a private investigator, he didn't sound too on the ball at all. I don't believe that. You've got somebody that they're working with that will do whatever he needs to do, fraudulent stuff, to steal someone's identity, to spin a false narrative. Please. You close on your new condo tomorrow morning. You're lending my realtor you told her about the Watts case, and she spent hours. She now watches your channel. Oh, thank you, Pilot Pete, and best of luck in the new condo. Is it in Florida? Best of luck. May you make many happy memories there. Thank you. But it's only now people in the UK. Well, I think it's people all over, but you want to hear something funny? My girlfriend, who you might as well say lifelong girlfriend since the age of 5 years old, we've been friends. Anyway, she is a realtor. Isn't that funny? She's a realtor in Arizona, but she moved there from, New Jersey a few years ago. Um, okay. So that's really mature, guys. I asked her today because, believe it or not, she didn't know I had a channel, and she was flipping out with her daughter because I told her. She goes, Carolyn, I can't believe that you were always so shy. You remember I told you guys how shy I was, and she says I can't believe it. So she couldn't believe it, and so she didn't know anything about the Watts case because we were talking about the channel and stuff, and I, told her, and I said, a lot of people found me through this case. She had no idea, and then when I started to tell her about it, she goes like this, oh, we have enough of those kind of people out here. So there are still people that don't hear of it, but there's going to be more and more through Netflix. Then we're going to see that there's going to be more and more hearing about it for the first time from Netflix. Oh yeah, Tina, that's what she was saying. She was saying it's so weird, and then her daughter was saying, well, Mom, people find their niche. They grow, they evolve, and they find their niche, and she definitely found her niche. But she said, I wouldn't have believed it because you were so shy. Thanks, M. Clark. Just checking up on this. He's a complete plagiarist. Yeah, and an identity stealer and credential stealer, and try to get plates from the DOT as a member of the press, full-time member of the press. What did Willie Bowers? Did you have another question, Willie? Heather Ann, you've seen it, most of it before. There is some wedding stuff and some of the home movie stuff that you haven't seen. But I think you should watch it because it is told for once from the point of view of the victims without. But no, yeah, Rabbit Dog, I want to expose this guy because they're going to try to come out and say like, oh, this is this and this is no, this is, you worked with a fraud. You worked with a fraud. You worked with an identity stealer. You worked with someone with no scruples. You worked with the criminal, allegedly, who has a rap sheet on other things beyond that. Yeah, Sabrina, it's, there's a. Hey, Beagle Mama, how are you doing? Did anybody want to come up and discuss this a little bit? If you know anything else, do you want to come up and discuss? Let me know. Hey, Snow Remover. Yeah, they had a little bit of extra content from the family files, yeah. They say that because they're just, first of all, they like to bash victims. They like to talk about things they don't know about, and they just want to cast shade because they're normally the people that do that or the Chris Watts fan club. Hi, Cupcake. It was, Eileen. It's nothing new. That's the thing. It's nothing new. But this guy is a fraud. This guy is a fraud. He doesn't care. He doesn't care if you tune in and watch this and say it. He wants the views for that night. That's what he wants. So he'll say whatever it is. He already has, it's already written about him that he'll do whatever it takes to spin his false narrative for anything. Okay? Pretend he writes for the New York Times. Pretend he's on Good Morning America as a correspondent. Stole the name of an identity of a woman that worked for Good Morning America. Come on, you have to be really desperate there. Okay. Alrighty, let's see. Ugh. Okay. Let's just real quick. Okay. All right. Back over here. Hey, Advocate. How did you hear? Oh, did I hear about Barry selling his house? No, did he put the house for sale? I'm surprised he can right now. Can he? They're done with, that's it? Huh. Interesting. No, thanks for letting me know, Lori Beth. You're so confused. Can anyone explain what's going on? What with what, Apache? What are you what are you so confused on? Yeah, Brooks Channel. We're doing that too. Oh. Hello. Hold on, let me see here. Is this my view? Okay, there we go. Hi. How are you, Robert? No. Rabbit? Oh, maybe.
Hey, can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. How are you?
I'm good. Does the audio
Oh, it sounded fine.
sound okay? I'm not sure if the microphone's working or not.
Yeah, you sound fine now.
Is it still okay?
Yep.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Oh, now you just.
I just knew as soon as the Netflix documentary came out. Oh, hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're okay. It just you're fine.
Okay. Yeah, I just knew as soon as the Netflix documentary came out that this kind of thing was going to happen. Not only on YouTube, of course, but stuff like this. I was just looking up that guy.
Yeah.
And you're right, he's a complete con artist.
Right. Yeah.
And there's going to be a lot of people. There's going to be people on YouTube, hopping on the bandwagon of guys like this, fake journalists. This is the problem with mass social media, is anyone can claim to be anything they want to be. I'm just reading that
Yeah, absolutely, and say that they're this reporter and it's on your content. Like that other guy with Michael Long, he even made sure that he picked a logo that looked like a news station, and on his page he put weather. They try to really make it to mimic a news page, but it's not. It's
is Michael Long? Is this the guy? Is this the guy that was?
No, but there's a very similar. The guy that did his extremely similar.
Whose wife?
Similar thing. He had a rap sheet so long on all kinds of charges, and he was a really unsavory character. And yet people just thought oh well, Michael did this thing with the news. They would say it was the news, but it wasn't. It was one guy, and he had a really bad history there, and a lot of trouble with the law. And this guy, the same thing. This guy's going on he's this, hot reporter or something that's worked at all these places, and he's nothing but a fraud, allegedly.
Yeah. I was just looking at the bio that he's written for himself. It's disgusting.
Yeah, and he's so.
Guys in the chat, can you let me know if the audio's okay?
Yeah. You can hear, right?
I think my audio's a bit dodgy.
No, it's okay.
I can hear fine, but I think people in the chat are saying I'm a
I think
bit echoey.
it's all right. But yeah, and then
Yeah,
he's got
well-
that thing. You'll have that point of view after he's, he's just a cocky guy, a really cocky, fraudy guy.
Yeah. I mean, it's... At least you're exposing it, right? And you're getting the information out there so that people can be prepared for anything that comes from it.
Because you know what happens on YouTube, right?
Right.
A lot of people don't just, they go, oh my gosh, did you hear that? This guy has this new thing coming out. And first of all, it's not new. We see right in there, these are the old, this is from when they went up for the plea deal. That's everything that we just heard in those things. That's all from then. That's when Cindy was saying that stuff. And that's Jamie.
I wonder who's behind it, if he's...
Yeah, I mean, I think they just want to get out there with this stuff. I think it's just, they can't take that, they would never have any of the people lashing out if they hadn't come in and started bashing Shanann. They would have had sympathy, but they had to come out, they had to bash her from the get-go. They're still doing it. And I don't know.
See, the whole thing with Shanann, I really don't get it. I mean, it is, I've said this many times, I've said this before, there are reasons to analyse what went on with Shanann. She had her flaws. Of course she did. And there's many accusations that you could throw at her, but you could throw those accusations at anyone. I mean, not everyone has all their public videos and information put on YouTube, right?
Right.
But I just don't understand why people are so demeaning about her. As I've said, I think she's really endearing. I like her for her flaws and her faults. She was struggling to make the best life for herself that she could, and she wasn't quite there yet. She missed a lot of red flags, obviously. I believe that she fell in love with the idea of Chris Watts, like the image of him, but he was just a placeholder.
Right.
He wasn't actually there. He was vacant, and he only came alive when NK came along, right?
absolutely. Because it was, yeah, it just, that was about it. That was something new.
But it's
And there was
yeah.
something there right there, like that took him to whatever level he wanted to go to right there. There was a sexual awakening with that, and that could have just, put him there. But the same thing would have happened. I mean, he was just, he is a psychopath, excuse me. He's a psychopath. And
I believe so, yeah.
yeah, just, I don't know. It's just not good. And, like my son watched the documentary, and he just said, he's had feelings about it before, but he just said, the way he saw Shanann was, wow, she's a great girl. She's there trying to build a business. Yeah. She's a go-getter. She had, they had beautiful children together. She's a beautiful woman. She's, kept herself, not everything. He's like, that would be a great, what is wrong with this guy? That was like my son's take on it. Like, what the freak is wrong with this guy? I'm like, he's a psychopath. That's what's wrong with him. But yeah, it's just, but a lot of people like on that side, they would say like, well, what was wrong with her? What did she do? Did she have a bad temper? I mean, it was like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know.
Like, oh yeah.
I mean, she was an assertive person.
Mm-hmm.
She maybe was a little bit controlling, but it's not. Who cares, right? It just so happened that she was together with a man-child, a beta male who just wasn't right for her, and then people are seeing that contrast and using it against her. She was a great person. I find it so psychologically interesting that people are so demeaning against her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they don't realise that it says more about them than it does about her. I mean, I heard someone on a panel the other day saying, do you know what? And this was just someone that called in saying, do you know, I have to say this, I hate Shanann. And I just heard this back.
I've had comments like
I
that
wasn't
left
on the
here.
panel,
like, I don't like her.
And I was
would
thinking,
never want her to be my friend. I hate her. Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah, I mean, do you think Shanann would have liked you, caller? I mean,
yeah, right.
It's unbelievable. I mean, at least she wasn't phoning up a YouTube channel and telling everyone that she hated a victim.
Right.
A murder victim.
Right.
I mean, what does that say about you, caller?
Yeah, I don't know, like, where it comes from. Either, sometimes you say, like, people don't want things to happen to themselves. So if they make the victim out to be somebody that they could never be, then it makes them feel secure somehow, So they go into this, well, I'm a good wife, I'm a good wife. I do this, I don't do that. I don't, I'm not controlling. I don't have a bad temper, so that couldn't happen to me. And I think you have some people like that. You also have some people that have really, it's kind of scary, but fallen in love with Chris and kind of think like, oh, well, if Chris was mine, that wouldn't have happened. And poor Chris, and now he's in prison, and now I can't, it's nuts. It's really nuts.
Yeah, I know. And people were so desperate to believe that Shanann was guilty of something, and when it became impossible to hang on to that belief, they still clung to this perception that Shanann somehow caused it to happen. Mm-hmm. And it's obviously people that they just dislike who Shanann was as a person. It's just not the kind of person that they would hang out with in life.
Right.
So they took that and used that against her and other people as well. They just found something about Chris that they liked. His meekness, his weakness. They kind of liked that. Because do you know how there's... it's well known that there's a lot of women that they kind of fantasize about criminals in jail, and they'll write letters to them, end up marrying guys in jail, because there's this there's this perception that some females think that they can be the one that can sort out this guy, and if they just met someone like me, then he would be okay. He wouldn't want to
Right.
rage
Right. And there's also, there's
out. He wouldn't want to kill anyone,
Right, but
There's something like that going on.
There's actually a writer that, and I've got to look her up because somebody interviewed her right after the Chris Watts discovery came out, and she writes about why these women do go after prisoners and they want to get married to them and everything. And there's a whole dynamic behind it, and a lot of them want to know, like if they go to someone, especially if someone that's on death row or they're in they're away for life without parole, they somehow know exactly where that person is all the time. Maybe a lot of times they were cheated on before, and there's all these different relationship dynamics that go into that. And this woman wrote a book about it, and she doesn't live far from me. And someone from one of the morning shows in New York went out to interview her, and I said, I'm going to call her up because I would love to get her on the show, or even, well, now because of this, but yeah, probably be on Zoom, but talk to her because she has like a whole book about this, why women do this.
You absolutely should. Yeah, you should try to do that. That'd be fascinating to hear, because there is something going on there with certain types of females. They think, as I say, that they can be the equivalent of the white knight. It's just the other way around.
Right, yeah.
And they think they can be the damsel that's going to sort out this guy that's just made a few mistakes. He's just not found the right woman.
They're going to have so much control, right? Because they know when he's going to call. They know, they can do little things like put money in the commissary account, be like a real hero, and all this stuff. And that's why, like they go after these guys and they want to get married to them. And there's so many people that are just dying to get together with these guys.
Yeah, and they know that they don't have any physical competition unless there's other females.
Yeah.
Right into them. There's no one in jail. There's no females in jail for him.
Yeah, but there is. I mean, there's did you see how many wrote to him in that short time in the discovery? There were multiple women writing to him.
I know. Yeah, he must have been loving it there for a short while.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of crazy. I mean, even Jodi Arias, you take that rap singer that made that rap song about her and would call her up, and I mean, it's nuts. Patricia says she likes bad boys.
Did she not get married to another? Did she not?
Oh, I don't think she got married. Did she?
Get married to a female in jail recently, or am I thinking someone else?
I didn't hear that. Did anybody else hear that?
To a female though. I'm not sure. I'm having issues with the audio at my end. You keep cutting in and out.
Oh no, you're fine. Like it might stop for a minute.
It may be my internet problem though.
It sounds fine though.
Yeah, but your voice is cutting in and out.
Oh, my voice is?
For me.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they say they can hear fine, so.
Yeah. Well, they can hear me anyway. Oh, someone says Anna is his girlfriend.
But Anna's supposed to be married, but then someone's saying that her marriage is breaking up or something, but isn't she supposed to be the one that's this tremendous Christian and everything? And I don't know. There were so many things, like when Cato went there, Cato sounded like she was in love with the guy. It's really scary.
Yeah. This is tough for me because your voice keeps cutting out. Is there another way to call that might work better?
You want to try to call back in and see if it's any better?
I can try that. Yeah, maybe it's a problem. Yeah, maybe it's a problem with Zoom. Is there another?
Yes.
Is there anything?
No, just try to call back
other than Zoom that I can try.
No, but it might.
Right. Okay, I'll try that.
Try it. It might connect better the next time.
Okay. Cool.
See. Okay. Thanks. Audio is good. If anybody else wants to call in, let me know. Anna was pregnant when she started visiting Chris. in the film. Oh, Nicole Atkinson. Yes, Welsh Cakes. Yeah, prayers for Nicole. She's gone through a lot with her baby boy, had issues after birth with his heart, and that was scary. And then the cancer and all the treatment she's undergone. She's a tough cookie. Prayers for her. Hi, Dawn Marie. Oh, and keep the prayers coming for Sophia. She hasn't needed the surgery yet. I was really nervous because it was a long time without an update, but my son just messaged me as I was on before and said that her number, they're like weaning her off they had her in an induced coma. So I guess they're weaning her off that, and they say her numbers are looking good, but she'll probably have a long road ahead of her. But just please keep her in your prayers, Sophia, 6 years old. Liza. Alicia, I think she finished her treatments, and I think she had her reconstruction. I'm not exactly sure, but I know her hair is growing back, and so hopefully she's on the road to recovery there. A little girl who's the people that used to live up by us. His son used to be kind of live here too, and then he's kind of marrying into the family. Well, his sister's 6-year-old daughter was in an automobile accident and was injured very, very badly. 6 years old with traumatic brain injury, and she's in very critical condition. So. Oh, she had to start more rounds of chemo? Oh, gosh. Hope everything's all right for her. Hello. Oh, he's connecting his audio. He's doing
Hello.
well. Hi. Is that better?
It seems better so far, yeah.
Okay. Nicole is doing well, looking good. Seems to. Oh, that's good. Yeah, God bless.
Hi to everyone in the chat as well. Do you know, Caroline, I can understand why some people really hated on NK, especially to begin with, because that's understandable because of what she symbolises.
Mm-hmm.
She symbolised this vixen that might come along and steal your man. You know, if you're in a comfortable marriage or in a long relationship, I think, and for both genders, we all fear that someone's going to come along and sweep away your partner, showing them the excitement of the unknown.
Right.
So I think the fact that she symbolised that is why people naturally they're repelled by that, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also even if it's not that, but that they feel she was the catalyst, that they think, nothing would have happened. You know, he would have gone on had he not met her, and everybody would still be here. So either way you slice it, yeah. But definitely those that, especially if they had something like that happen to them, then they were just. Yeah, you could see a lot transference onto that, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I mean that's understandable until you learn more facts about the case, and then once you realise that she wasn't involved in any way criminally, then for me anyway, I have a lot of sympathy for her because she was literally the most hated woman on YouTube or in America for a while. She's had to go into hiding. There's a nutcase YouTube creator who just did not stop manufacturing fake evidence to try and keep the case alive for his channel, just victimizing her even more and victimizing the family of Shanann
Right.
in her memory, in the kid's memory.
Yeah.
And this guy is the worst of the worst on YouTube. People will probably know who I'm talking about. Rhymes with defective. So just like you're doing with that fake journalist, people like that need to be called out on YouTube, and people need to be aware of the information, because so many people, especially after something like this with the Netflix documentary, people are going to be so interested in this case that maybe missed it the first time around. They're going to jump onto YouTube, type in a few words, and people like that are going to pop up as one of the first in a list. And they're going to fall for some of the nonsense and some of the rubbish that's on sites that's on channels like that. So that's why it's important that people are doing like what you're doing, and there's many others that try and get the facts out there and try and get the truth out there. So at least those people that will innocently fall for some of that nonsense, they have a chance to eventually come across the right information.
Right. And just like with this stupid thing that's billed like a 2-hour premiere movie, this guy is look at his charges. He's been one fraud thing after another, impersonating, stealing people's identities, using, creating letterhead, so he can doctor anything on the computer. I mean, that should show you
That's
that
right.
They'll take anything. He'll create, this guy, anything to push that false narrative.
Yeah.
It's there.
I know. I mean, there's such a lack of principle out there with a lot of people, that they basically, a lot of people just look for ways to get numbers, right?
Right.
And it doesn't really go much deeper than that for a lot of people. It's just about what's hot right now, and then they just need to get that out there with their name attached to it and just keep that rolling for as long as they can.
Yeah. What I found, especially if you find something, somebody will say, let's just say, I don't even know anybody, I'm just saying, you say it's a case, so it doesn't even have to be the Watts case, but a case that's been out there, okay, let's say Ted Bundy, like you said before. And someone says, oh my gosh, breaking news about Ted Bundy, there's this, that. And even if you go there and you listen, you're like, you sometimes feel like you're the only one that's saying, this isn't I almost feel sometimes sorry for let's say a creator that I'll see the headline right away and I'll know that there's nothing to that. There's absolutely zero to that. So how are they going to spin this, right? And then I always think their audience is going to be like, well, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense, right? And I'm waiting for it, and I'll look at the chat, and instead of that, you just see people going, wow, oh my gosh.
You're
that's
so
incredible.
right.
Oh, you have to send this to the FBI, right? And you're just like, what? And, at first I'm feeling like, oh, they're going to take this person and they're going to hang him out to dry. And then they're just, or in there, just believing whatever a person says. And it can be about any case or anything. And there's a lot of people that like to capitalize on that. So they'll say anything and come up with any theories in order to keep that going for any case. So
that's so true, and it's so frustrating to see it, right?
Yeah, and I'm just like, come on, people. Now, there's got to be somebody here that's going to say well, no, that's not, and there's not, and I can't believe it.
Yeah, and I've kind of changed my tune a little bit in terms of how I try and deal with stuff like that. I tend these days to maybe try and engage with creators within reason. There's certain creators that are just so despicable that I never would. But for other particular creators that are capable of being respectful, that maybe just disagree with how we would interpret the case, I'll still try and engage with them, because you're trying to reach not just them but the audience, right? And you just, I mean, if you turn one person's viewpoint, then that's something.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's like all over. It's like even we saw it just recently in the Michael Long case, and people that said there was people that came and said stuff like that, or just even in drama, like even in when they carried the Micah Stauffer case, and there was stuff around that, and it's it's just it's crazy.
Yeah,
But
it is.
I don't know. I guess some people like I don't know. I always think like they can't be from New York. But really, when I'll look at it, I'll go, "Oh, they're going to get eaten alive when they come out with it." And I'm just amazed. I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" Not one person is questioning anything. Not one person is saying that's not true.
Yeah.
Or where's the facts? Or where is that?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of a tribal thing that goes on as well with different channels. People have allegiances to certain channels, and it's people are more inclined if they're kind of swithering either way, then they're going to be more inclined to believe whatever the narrative is with their favorite creator.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard sometimes to abstract yourself and just look at it objectively and logically, like you say, but people just need to try.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just such a crazy thing. But yeah, now this guy is like they always work with like these really scrupulous people. Like Cadle, and not they didn't work with Cadle, gave them the shaft, but then remember they had that other writer, and then she ended up bailing on them with that book that Cindy wanted, and that never happened. And then I guess they shopped around, and this person either found them, but whatever, it just tells you, why.
Do you think anyone might be behind this guy that could be related in some way to the case?
I don't know. I don't know. I know that some creator, which I was, a little skeptical of, and it's not who you mentioned, but it was someone else that used to be a part of a team that was very anti-Shanann, and then came out as, I'm sorry, I read people pretty well, and even if somebody tries to change their colors, I can usually tell if it's sincere or not. I never took it as sincere, but then I heard something, and it was along one of these calls, and then the person said something like they were sitting on like 2 years worth of stuff that they were going to start releasing because no one was going to tell them what they can do and not do, and they're going to talk about this, and it just, I don't know, it gave me a bad feeling, like, this is just, and then since then there's been like all this stuff released just like to release it because of the name, and with nothing, and a lot of stuff that I don't understand that's coming out, just to release it again, and it's, to me, that's like another thing, that clear motives, but a lot of people don't see that, but
yeah I mean, on the face of it, I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, but that only goes so far, right?
Yeah.
With certain people, you can kind of see through it.
Right.
And there's some creators that are basically just playing a character, like
or they want to be a shock jock, and just they'll say the opposite of whatever it is just to do that. And there are people that like to do that, because it's, I don't know, it kind of gives them a thrill. I think they really do get off on saying like, the exact opposite of whatever everyone else is saying, just to say it.
Yeah, and it's a numbers game as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's some, it's, I don't know, some sad things, and there are definitely some shock jocks wannabes, at least on here. But, it's sad because you've got, victims' families behind it, and I don't know, it's...
Yeah.
We don't see that much. I mean, like, with a lot of people like to say, well, Lacey Peterson, but Scott Peterson's family, we didn't really see them all over social media so much. At least I didn't, or even, I know there were some interviews and things, but it wasn't like,
Not like this.
Scott Peterson that killed his pregnant wife, Lacey.
Yeah.
And he had the Amber, and his mistress, like, she genuinely, people could see she knew nothing about his life, and she helped them, get him arrested. It was her, she worked with the police and got those tapes, and so I think that was like something totally different.
Yeah. There's a definite moral difference, huge moral difference between her and NK. There's no doubt about that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
No doubt at all.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people, they even think, Amber didn't know what was happening, and when she did, she felt genuinely sorry, and she did help them, and and she did get together with Lacey's mother, and
Can you imagine how she felt when she found out? Oh my God, that must wreck your head.
Yeah, absolutely.
In her weakest moment, she's probably thinking, if I didn't come along, then she'd still be alive. Which is not true, but you know how your mind can turn in on itself sometimes, after a traumatic event like that.
Right. And then you have like Patrick Frazee, right? Another one, but and most people, you didn't see many people taking up for KK or whatever you
mistress.
want to call her. Yeah. Crystal Lee Kenny, or whatever the heck her name, how she puts it, Crystal. You didn't see many people defending her or standing behind her on YouTube, or saying that Kelsey deserved what happened. So we didn't see that kind of stuff happen there. And even Patrick's family in the courtroom, they weren't, he had a little social media presence here with his dogs and stuff, but we didn't see that there. So I don't think we've ever seen anything like Shanann yet.
There's nothing that compares to this. Nothing at all. It's eerily fascinating,
I think it's definitely because so many people got to know her on such a because I'll tell you that I remember watching all of her videos, and this was early on when the discovery came out, because I wanted to learn about her, so I watched all of her videos. And as I went through them, like one morning I said, I wonder what Shanann has, if she did. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Carolyn, she's not alive anymore. But for a while I forgot and thought like it was like watching a YouTube personality, and I had seen her doing the cannoli cookies, and I felt like, and it took me to grasp that. And then when it came out on Dr. Phil, and I was okay until they ran like a montage at the end of the kids, and I will tell you, I started like heaving, like that, and I'm like, oh my gosh, right? Because it was just, we fell in love with those kids. We fell in love with her. We felt we knew her on such a level that we didn't know many other victims. We can learn about them a little bit, but there was something in Shanann that maybe we saw ourselves, or we could relate to her. And
I think so, yeah.
Then what she went through, and then the kids, especially, the one that really gets to me is when and it's not a very, maybe a lot of people haven't seen it, but she's playing with Dieter, and she says something like, "Mommy, is Dieter going to be sad when we go away?" And it's, she was talking about something else, obviously, but the way she says it, and she has these angel wings on that she's dressed up in, and I mean, it's just, oh my gosh, that video, it's like I get so choked up with that video because of what Bella says. It's heartbreaking. She says,
Do you know what I've still not been able to actually watch? And I can watch a lot of stuff, I can handle quite a lot, obviously following true crime. But I've still not been able to watch that footage of Shanann walking up to the door with her suitcase.
Yeah, see, and I
just
never
can't
put
do
that
it.
on because I had that in the Discovery, but just something about that, it felt too
real.
raw. You know, that was her last time, and I said, no, I cannot put that up there. That's just too. It's too much. It's like you said, it's too hard for you. It's too hard for a lot of people to see that because
Yeah.
everybody just wants to grab her and be like, no, you know, just
I know.
don't do that. Don't go there. Yeah.
And you hit on a really important point as well. I think people do feel like they know her and know the kids because, as you say, there was so much video out there, you know, and people they wanted to see her more. And like you say, sometimes you would forget that she was gone and the kids were gone.
Right.
I mean, there's so many different factors that played into it being such a overwhelming case for people. But what's crazy is some people went the other way. They watched all these videos and they just disliked her so much
Right, and
and
they would
felt
say this, they would just pick her apart, like, you know, like, oh, look, she didn't run the second Cece went in that bathroom. She's a bad mother. Oh, she's, you know, and but they were projecting so much. To me, what I see is they were projecting so much about what they weren't, because it seemed to come from a place of jealousy and just they wanted just to bring her down, and I don't know, it's so horrible.
I know.
Like I said, yeah, I know you weren't in those the Facebook. If you think it was bad here, the Facebook groups were brutal, or they were absolutely brutal. And I mean,
I've heard that. I'm so glad I was never in any of those kind of groups or anything. You know, it's only YouTube that I've used to follow it all. You know, but I've heard a lot of stories.
Yeah. See, Cupcake says the video of Bella and Dieter. Yeah, it's just. It's so, if you watch it now, it's just, oh my gosh, you know, because she's being so sweet with little Dieter, and Shanann's on the couch, and she's got these angel wings on, and she's just like, but will Dieter be sad when we go away? You know, and it's so sad, really sad.
Do you I know this is quite morbid, but do you believe that Chris was planning what he was going to do for those few weeks?
Oh, yeah. I think it was totally premeditated, yes.
Yeah,
just the way when he went
think so
down
too,
to
yeah.
North Carolina, and he was, you know, such a cold person, and when she got so sick that night, I do believe he tried to put something in her drink, and that he did. And that got her, she couldn't stop throwing up that night and was so sick.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he probably tried to make her lose the baby, because that would be, you know, one less thing. And, you know, it's just, and I truly just think, you know, again, people say, well, why didn't he walk away? And 100% believe because he cared about his image so much that he didn't want to be, the bastard that left his wife when she was 15 weeks pregnant, you know, and this way he thought, you know, you always think, the person is psychopath. It doesn't think about all the details, and everybody's going to believe it, and it's going to go off the way it should. And he's going to be this great victim that everybody's going to come and bring covered dishes to and say, oh my gosh, we're so sorry. How did this happen? And that was what was going to happen in his mind. You know, he was going to be cared about and fawned over, and oh my gosh, you know, where's your family? But it didn't happen that way, and that's
we're just lucky that he was such a bad liar, and he got caught so easily.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, he was most definitely a psychopath. Oh yeah, but he wasn't a good criminal.
No, I know he wasn't. I mean, and then, you know, he just said the most bizarre, like, well, they said, you've been here a long time, and he was like, remember that? He was like, 6 hours, 6 minutes. Like, he knew down to the minute how long he'd been in that room. But then, yet, he didn't know that, was it Cece or Isabella, the one that had the buttons in the back? He didn't remember that was the dress she was wearing. And even Coder did, and said, you know, like, don't you remember you said something about the buttons in the back? Oh, you know, he couldn't remember that dress, and it's just so weird, some of the stuff.
Yeah, I mean, watching the interrogations, I mean, I watched every second of all those interrogations, and it's so chilling, knowing, obviously, that he knew he knew what the situation was, and just to see his temperament
Yeah.
and his, like, how, I don't know if calm's the right word, but just this absolute lack of emotion.
But you know what's always that fascinates me, like any case like that where they've done something right, but they're making it think that someone else did, and yet anytime the door opens, anytime the phone rings, like when that cop called at 2 a.m. in the morning, remember that one, to get their sizes?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Now, normally, if your family was really gone and you get a call at 2 in the morning from a police officer, right? What are you going to be like? Oh my gosh, did you find anything? Did you find them?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
But he wasn't like that. He was just, hey, hello? Like, didn't ask once, did you find them? And even when he was sitting in that room, now most fathers and husbands would be like, how long do we have to be here? Because I want to be out there looking for them, right? You'd be like, I got to be on the ground. We could do these questions later, but I want to be out there. I want to go see if I can find them while it's daylight. Never once did he say that.
There wasn't a second of that.
Never.
Not a second.
Never.
And I heard someone else saying the other day that they believe that the I forget the name of the two detectives.
Coder and Tammy?
Yeah. They believe that those two detectives still thought there was a chance that Shanann was involved, and that's why they went back to talk to Chris.
Yeah.
There's no way in hell they thought that. Once they had been with him long enough, they knew. I mean, they've got experience, right?
Right.
Even without all of the facts, they could see that there was something completely abnormal about his behavior.
Oh, she knew because she kept saying to him, you really don't want to, fix this right now. You want people to think that she killed her children. Do you really want that to be that, like she 100% knew that, he was lying about that and just couldn't believe that he was going to continue to take that and not clear that up. Yeah.
Yeah. And people get confused as well. Do you know how sometimes they'll throw the criminal or the suspect a few bones and give them a easier way out by saying, okay, did this happen? Was there maybe a fight? And did Shanann maybe do something? That's all part of... It's a technique.
Their training, right? Like they did it with Jodi Arias when they said, I know, could this have happened? Like, did you get really upset? Right. And they give him something like, well, maybe you did it, but maybe you did it because of this, and maybe you did it because of that, and it wouldn't make you a bad person. Like
it's a technique.
Right.
You reel them in by giving them an outcome which doesn't seem so bad to the suspect, and then once they've crossed that line and they've admitted some culpability, then you just keep reeling them in further and further, and then you say something like, okay, let's go back to what I just suggested. Did that really happen? And then you just drag them in further and further until eventually, hopefully, you get the truth. But people get confused when they hear detectives saying, suggesting that they weren't fully culpable, and that's not what the detectives believe. It's part of the technique.
Right. Yeah. She did. I mean, they fed that to him to get, because if you can get him to confess to one of the things, then it's easier to get him to confess to the whole thing. And we see it over and over. And those of us that watch, those interrogations, there's certain tactics they use over and over, and they can use deception too. And that's why I thought it was really weird that whatever call that doesn't even sound like Chris on the line, they say it's a private investigator, but I don't know. He sounds really wet behind the ears because he says, you were tired and they shouldn't have done that. But you can use deception. You do wear them down. That's one of the tactics, it's like, and this guy's going to say, oh, you were tired. I mean, I don't know. That was really... I've
still not heard this phone call that people keep mentioning.
Yeah. It's not, doesn't sound like him at all. It sounds like the person has the intonations down, but the voice doesn't sound at all, and the person on the other end of the line really doesn't sound like anybody in any type of professional capacity. So, and like I said, it's from someone that's made up things before, so I don't know where I stand with that. Hi, Crazy Red. You feel so sorry for the rest of Shanann's family who have to listen to people saying, yeah, it is very bad,
totally.
but, hopefully there will be laws changed for stop people from doing stuff like that.
Yeah, Mail said the read technique. I think that's the name of the detective technique.
Yeah. So I think you listened to the phone calls after he was sentenced. Are you talking about the ones that are coming out in that feature Facebook Live? He would never have known he was not happy. But, he'll say anything, Tammy. He has said so many things. Like, because even my son said, who is going to take two little kids, out in the, dawn, to put them in the back seat without car seats, on top of their mother that's laying on the floor. It's so unbelievable, and he's changed his story so many times that it's like I don't know how anybody believes like anything this guy says. And the last one with Cato where he killed them twice, I mean, it's just getting so far-fetched.
Why did he say that?
Because I think maybe he thought, who knows, maybe they had evidence that he did something at home, and I don't know. And so he said that, yeah, he did, but he must not have done it completely. And they got up, and then he decided, well, he couldn't do it there, so he'll bring him out there, and did it out there. But number one, I mean, how, first of all, and then can you imagine if one of his coworkers came in and he had two kids in the truck, and even if he had gotten Shanann in the shallow grave, then he had two little kids, or if he was in the middle of that, or, I mean, come on. Yeah, that's just.
I mean, I just don't understand why, like, what the point was in him saying that. I just do not, like, even if it's true, like, I don't understand why you would.
Sometimes I think
let people know that
he did it to like I don't know, just get people. I think he did. I wouldn't even say he could have done it to hurt the Rusaks. Some of that, I think, because I think he is very, he's not, people think he's this nice person, and he's not. I mean, just like what he said about Bella, he said something like, did I say to her, yeah, I'm going to do that exactly or did I just do it? Was I a monster? Like he says, like he would have been a monster for just saying that. But if he didn't say that and he did what he did, he wouldn't be a monster. So, like, he just says the most absurd things that you've ever heard, right? And then, especially when he said, I hope people won't judge me on this one event. No.
That was...
Oh, no.
It's like he's 12 years old. I mean,
yeah,
that was the thing with the interrogations. He was basically a kid in the headmaster's room, that had stolen a packet of crisps.
Right, yeah.
So that was his... temperament. It was just unbelievable. In regards to him saying that it happened twice as well, it's almost like the only motive for that was to hurt people and for the shock value, because it somehow kept him in the loop somehow,
Yeah.
He knew people would be talking about the Chris Watts case because of what he said.
Right.
And I'm just clinging to the fact that that is what it was, and it was just a lie, and I just pray that it was quick for the kids, you know?
But you said like he even made him look worse than ever, right? Because people were horrified when they heard that. And then he made it even look worse when he talked to Cato and put that, it's like, but I think he is so desperate for anything, just to
For attention.
that he would say that stuff, but then still think stupidly that if he said he was a changed man and he wanted to do this, then maybe they won't just judge him on that one event and just say, oh, he was just misunderstood maybe a little bit, and
Yeah, he's found God now, right? So it's all okay.
that's right. But there's so many of them do, and then everything's great.
Do you know why? Do you know why that happens? Because that's all they've got left.
Yeah. Son of Sam did too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Son of Sam is by me. So it's crazy. I mean, I don't know, but he thinks he could get out and be a chaplain or something, and it's like, yeah, okay.
I pray that he never sees the light of day. I know he won't.
He's not.
But
He's
no.
not. I mean, so many of them, even if they get their appeal, look at Jodi Arias. So she got her appeal, it amounted to nothing. And
Actually, that's a good comparison with Jodi Arias. Do you remember once she was convicted, and she ended up, when the family was in the court, she was shown how she stabbed the guy.
right.
And the only motive for her doing that was to hurt
Yeah.
his sisters and
Oh, when she
mother.
said, when she said at the end, remember when she said, and he was alive, and
Yeah.
he was conscious when I slit his throat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
she showed her true colors at that point.
she
Her
wanted
fake.
to hurt them. Yeah.
Yeah. And it just proved that her whole act of this, sweet misunderstood girl who had the intelligence of Einstein
Right. Yeah.
up on the stand, that was exactly that. It was an act, and her true colors came out when she had nothing left but to hurt the family.
Yeah.
And to tell everyone that he was still alive, and this is how I stabbed him.
Yeah, she definitely did that because I think she felt that she didn't want to wear the prison stripes, and they made her wear them to the sentencing. And,
I'm so glad.
Right, yeah. And so I think she felt in like, oh, they're probably looking at me and they're, mocking me or whatever she thought. And so what could she do? Well, I'll hurt them. I'll hurt them really bad, and I'll just say, that yeah, he was, and he did, and he felt it, and he suffered, and
Yeah, that's all she had left, and I wonder if that is what Chris was doing by coming up with that story about it being twice.
Yeah, no, I do think, because in a way, he wanted to get back at them again, and all that. But he said so many times, like in that interview, he said they would defend me. I didn't want to put everyone through that. It's not that he didn't, have effective counsel or anything like that. So I don't know how he's never going to get an appeal. Even if he gets an appeal, they're not going to grant it, to be heard. It's not going to happen. So it's just ridiculous.
I think there would be riots if he if he ever got out.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. He's not.
Can you imagine?
He's not going to get out. And then I've seen somebody send me an article about that house saying that like nobody wants it. I don't know how true it is. Somebody sent it to me, and I mean, it was, I think, in something that was really like credible publication, but they said like nobody wants that house. So technically they took it off of the bank, got rid of it, and just it's sitting there. And actually they said, which didn't make sense, they said it's still owned by Chris, but that wouldn't be. So I was like, what is this about this house? I just said that. I think Lori, did you send that to me? Because I only got to look at that a little bit, and just something seemed wacky about that.
Someone will buy it.
Oh yeah, because someone will buy it, especially like even how it is on YouTube, right? And go through it and reenact stuff, and people would do it for that part of it. But
people have done that before with other cases, haven't they?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. John Benet Ramsey's house, I think, is sold like a couple of times. And like the Amityville Horror House is sold a few times. And I mean, even look
Oh,
at that. Even that guy with the mother, that had the mother's head on the stove, that sold.
Oh, you were talking about that case
Yes.
the other day. I blitzed through a lot of the court footage, and that is
Horrific.
absolutely horrific. I mean, and did you see? You obviously watched the court case as well. What's the guy's name again?
Joel Guy Jr.
Ah, yeah. And I don't even know why there was a case. It was almost like he just wanted to be in front of the camera.
He had like
so that
no defense either, right? That was a tactic supposedly, but I mean, I really thought they were going to say, "Oh, he was horribly abused, and you don't know." And he had
there was
all this-
nothing. There was
no defense.
No defense.
Can't even.
I mean, and you knew 100%. His defense team knew he was 100% guilty. They were just going through the motions, but it almost felt like he just wanted to be in front of the camera so that he could do those little smirks and show how little he cared and how bad he had been, and it's almost like he just wanted everyone to know the details.
Yeah, that was something. And you just look at him and like how he's in Walmart, right? After that, that's what I'm saying. A lot of times, like I always look around sometimes at people, and I just think about like, is anybody here just like gruesomely, grotesquely murdered their parents, and they're in Walmart like getting bandages, and it's just you never know, right? But he was such an unassuming guy,
I know.
and I mean he walked in there with I think he had flip-flops on, right? Flip-flops haven't been such good things in true crime, but yeah, he flip-flopped into Walmart and got that stuff, and just.
And he seems to have been a little similar to Chris Watts in some ways. He had no friends at all. He had one friend that was his housemate, right?
Right, and his roommate in high school. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was miles and miles away from his family. He barely knew his sisters.
Yeah, that's what I found, that dynamic of the family, and I'm still digging on that, just trying to find something, because like how those girls would have been around when he was born, and so and they spent considerable time with the father. Like, how would they not talk about, oh well, at least when he was a toddler he was nice, or when he was 5 he was like, but it was just like first, and there was 2 different stories. If you went back to the 2016 articles, the sister said something different than what she said on the stand. And so it's just, it's weird, but nobody, not even the Answer Anything, talk about what the parents and his relationship was like, other than the money.
Yeah, there has to be something substantial that happened to make him so messed up. There has to be. Like, not necessarily anyone else but his fault, but something has to have happened in his upbringing or through his environment.
Yeah, I mean, and then we somebody came in that her daughter went to school with him, and then, like, they were even saying like he was like quiet, or he didn't say anything, and I said, oh my gosh, how is there nothing on this guy? And apparently he didn't kill animals, because he spared the dog, even though he had in his notebook to kill the dog. Then he said, no, let the dog live.
Oh, that's a question I have, actually. It makes no sense that he just left the scene like that, especially when you see all the preparation that he had gone through in his notebook. Do you think he was on his way back?
Yes, here's the thing. I guess he hurt his thumb so badly that he feared, he might lose it or something, but he didn't want to get medical treatment up there. So he went all the way back to Louisiana, and he went to the LSU student clinic. And that's where he got treatment. And then he was driving up again, but they already were at the house. He saw the police tape. See?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But
I didn't know that. I'm
Yeah.
glad I asked you that.
Yes.
That makes sense. He was
Yeah.
definitely on his way back then. So he hadn't given up on his plan
No,
then,
I
had
think he was gonna torch that house when he was done.
Yeah, because he left. He left just way too much evidence there.
Right.
You know?
I think he was really nervous about his hand, and
Yeah.
he wanted to get, especially if he wanted to be a plastic surgeon. His hands would be pretty important. So yeah, I had to get that taken care of. And
Plus, it was probably he was probably in such pain that he wasn't able to do what he had to do, right?
right, yeah, because it was too
Although,
much.
although they were both already in those big buckets, right?
Right, but like he left the hands out, right? Like with the
Oh,
fingerprints,
yeah.
right? Like what? And yeah, and that's so much of it didn't make sense either. Like, I just wish there was some security cam of him leaving the house that night. That was caught somewhere, or you think that he would stop somewhere along the way, or when he got, just there would be more security footage to show him, because when he walked into Walmart to get the supplies, he's still he wasn't bleeding profusely. He had a bandage on and he got some more stuff. Now he could have hurt himself worse when why do that?
Did you?
Go ahead. What?
What was I going to say?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, did you watch all the body cam footage?
Yeah, yes, I did. And, I just,
It's so eerie.
yeah, right. And the cops, like when they went up there and they're like, get out, we got to back out of here.
Yeah.
But,
and you could hear them, like the other cop in the background who'd obviously went into the bathroom,
Right.
and he was just like, "Oh my god, oh my, like, let's back out, guys,"
Right.
And then the first guy, when you realise that he's seen the hands at the end of the hall.
Yeah. That guy was
And
like, he still, like, you could see it really.
God, I mean, that was so chilling. I mean, sometimes it doesn't come across in body cams of,
Right.
what's really going on, but it was just so chilling. It came through the camera. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was really bad. And for him taking the lockbox off the front. Now, okay, so he would take the lockbox off the front because he would think, well, I can't have the realtors coming in, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then not thinking that the realtor that sees the lockbox isn't on the house anymore and that it's a different doorknob isn't going to go around to the back of the house and then see there's a doorknob missing.
Missing? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some of the things were just so crazy. Like, I don't understand why he would do anything like that. I guess must he have tried to take out the front doorknob and he still couldn't get the lockbox off, and he had nothing to. I mean, it's so crazy.
Yeah. And I heard that he wanted the death penalty, didn't he? But
Yes,
he didn't get
did.
it.
But yeah, he didn't get
Yeah.
it.
I'm actually glad. I don't really believe in the death penalty. I think the only time, the only reason that for me that the death penalty is worth having is where there's a body that they've not been able to find, and they can use that as a bargaining measure to find out where the body is. Take the death penalty off the table, and it's just life if you tell us where the body is, for the sake of the family.
Right.
But like, how do we know that death is even a punishment, right? We don't know. I mean,
Right. Yeah, I think it's worse to have them sitting around just thinking about it and seeing that they're not
Yeah.
part of their life anymore. Like they're not doing the things they want to and all that stuff.
yeah, I mean, time itself, just the concept of time, if your life is bad enough,
Right.
that can be the most excruciating punishment possible.
Right.
So, that,
yeah.
just think about Chris Watts and Jodi Arias, how
Right.
how
Especially,
miserable their time's going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone asked why he put it in the lockbox. It was in a liquid in the sink, which was probably a chemical that he had there. He had a lot of chemicals, and he said would destroy DNA. And
you know how they didn't even realise the situation with the pot, even when the forensics were in taking all the pictures and putting the evidence labels down everywhere.
Yeah.
They hadn't even realized that she was in the pot.
I know.
By that point.
I know.
Unbelievable.
I know. And then he had like a Stouffer's frozen dinner on the side of the pot, like like he could eat with all that. And I don't know. He just. That was so horrific. I mean, and I say, like, to have such a, like, people say, okay, well, he did that because maybe he couldn't fit this or that and the other thing, and he had to destroy the evidence. But there's something with the mother, the way he attacked the mother, to me, that's why I really want to find out what that was like. Just the way he attacked her and the difference, the way he took his father's clothes off as opposed to his mother's clothes. And, then what he did with her head, because it almost reminds you of that Kemper guy, right? That with the mother issues and with the head. Yeah. It's like, why? Why did he do that? And then why then did he take it and then he put it on a pot, on the stove? And it's just. Yeah, just.
Yeah, there must be something, right? I mean, because why did they only do it to the one parent in that way?
Right, and then his father's hands. See, that's why I said, like, I was going to say if they were going to go like the abuse, like if the father, like if they were going to say the father physically abused him, is that why he kept the father's hand? You know what I'm saying? Because that was the means of the abuse, and maybe the mother was verbally abusive, and that's why the head, because stuff would come out right.
The mouth,
right?
Yeah, the mouth.
But I mean, in a lot of defenses, you would see something like that because they normally that's the first thing they go to, right? Is that. Oh, you don't know, they were abused and it was horrible and this and that. But they didn't say any of that. And so, but I just keep looking at that, like the hands, and I understand, the fingerprints. And he kept saying stuff like that in the journal. If you get rid of the DNA and you get rid of this, you don't have to get rid of the body. And, but like, why would he just leave the hands like that? And
the hands were in the praying position, apparently. I don't know if that has any.
One was up, and he said one was like the fist was behind it.
That's right. Yeah.
And then that he put the DNA, like he made stuff under his father's nails from the mother to show like that. So then he wanted this struggle, but then what? I don't know. It's just so nuts. And the father put up a fight. Did you see that room?
Yeah. It looks that way. I mean.
The Bowflex was knocked down and the blinds.
That's right. Yeah. God, imagine being a father and being the mother, knowing that it's your son doing that to you.
I know.
That's your last thoughts as you pass away.
Ugh. I don't know. Like, it really makes you wonder about like all of this about the kind of people, because if you just saw that guy, right, if you just saw him somewhere, you'd be like, oh, all right, he might be nerdy, he might be like, but I don't think he would be the kind that would do something like that, right? And a lot of times we look at someone that might look a little bigger and a little meaner and a little and they're like, oh yeah, they'd be the kind, and it just shows how looks are so deceiving.
It's like that cliche, it's the quiet ones you've got to worry about.
Yeah, and that's what I've always said. Like, when everybody first said, like, oh, they never argue, or that guy never yells, or I'm always like, watch out. I truly believe that. Because I just think, like, oh my gosh, I'd rather have somebody that yells or you get it out of your system, but when everybody's so quiet and this, she never does it, never. And then it's always like everybody on the news, oh, he was so quiet. That's like almost one of the first things they say. He was such a nice guy.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt a fly.
I never heard him say anything.
That's what I liked about Shanann. I like people that they're at ease enough to show their emotion.
Right.
Yes, they might get angry now and again. They might be a bit controlling, but they're human beings. And like you say, sometimes it actually is the quiet ones that seem like they wouldn't hurt a fly, that have some latent badness inside them.
It might be that like they're trying so hard to hide whatever is inside them, that it's so put on, and so that they have such control with controlling that for so long. Yeah, like Norman Bates, right? Because that's like Norman. He sits there and I'm going to show them I wouldn't even harm this fly, and they're going to say, "Look, she won't even harm a fly." You know, it's just.
That's maybe why, when it does go wrong, that it's such an eruption. You know, the dam just completely bursts.
Exactly. Yeah, I think Alien says yes. People who show emotion question everything, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't know, but so many people still believe like if somebody gets mad and then they're okay, that, oh my gosh, well maybe that, but to me, I'm more the person that's always so quiet all the time and everything's fine, and until it's not, until they totally lose lose it.
Yeah.
And so
you know where you are with someone that is expressive with their emotions. You know, I mean, it can get you in trouble sometimes.
Yeah, but there is passion.
It gets me in trouble a lot.
Yeah, I know, but there's still passion there. You know what I mean? Like you're passionate about something, and you have feelings, you have emotions, and I don't know. Instead of just somebody that's just like a status quo all the time, I don't know.
Yeah, there's definitely something to that.
Right? I don't know. I didn't. It's so many people. Oh, he was so quiet, so quiet. It'd be good to see the demeanor if somebody, like just study of these serial killers or killers, family annihilators. What was the general demeanor of them? Especially
the kind of family killers that kill in such a horrible way.
Right.
You know, the ones that go over the top, like Chris did, like that guy Junior did, like
John
the
List.
Frazee guy. He's a bit different. Frazee,
Frazee was you could see like the temper with the dogs, and so he had a temper. He wasn't.
He was an assertive guy, wasn't he? He was more of a man's man, I guess.
Yeah. Did you ever see him with the dog? Like I think they're still up on YouTube, but I mean, okay, you do call a female dog a bitch, especially when you're a breeder like that. But when he's doing this video, he's like, and this is this one, and look at that bitch over there, and that one, this is Sally's bitch over here, and he just keeps saying it over and over, and then he's got this like lunge whip, and he's putting the dogs through these paces, and it's just you can just I don't know, these are very gruff.
He seemed to enjoy it. He seemed to enjoy it a bit too much and enjoy the word a bit too much.
He did, and I think he enjoyed controlling people and scaring people, and so I think he got pleasure out of that. So he was a different one. Now then you've got like John List, or you've got McDonald's, the Green Beret in North Carolina, and then you've got so many of them to look at to see what their demeanor was. Like Scott Peterson, he was I don't think he was a guy that, because the parents didn't even believe that it could have been him in the beginning. So
he wasn't the quiet type either, was he? Scott Peterson, am I right?
Yeah, but he wasn't. Like they weren't saying, oh, they were fighting all the time. They thought things were good. Like the parents thought he was a good guy. So it wasn't. He was more outgoing than Chris and stuff, but he wasn't. Somebody would say, oh, they were arguing all the time over there or something.
Right.
Yeah, that wasn't the case.
Yeah, because I think there was a lot more conflict between Frazee and Kelly, right?
And they weren't even married, so I think that was a totally different dynamic, with that. But then you've got that guy that was in the Disney. Well, I know it's not Disney neighborhood anymore, but it used to be owned by the Disney property. The one that killed his whole family, and he was the chiropractor that was going back between Connecticut and Florida, and everybody was saying, "Oh, he was a great guy. They loved him." you know. So he was another one, and then did this like horrific stuff. But now he's changed his whole story, and he's blaming his wife. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. He confessed to it, and then he changed the story, and he came up with this convoluted story and blamed everything on his wife. It was unbelievable. Yeah. And that he was saying that he kept telling the wife, you know, it's okay, and then she killed herself. So he didn't take the blame for any part of it. Oh my gosh, that is such a crazy.
That's strange.
Yeah. So I mean, it's look at some of that stuff is.
And it goes back to what you were saying earlier. I mean, how many situations have we all been in, sitting in a coffee shop somewhere or walking through the supermarket, and there's someone who's just walked past you that has either already killed someone in the past or is thinking about it, you know?
Yeah.
That's a scary thought.
I know, and I do think that. And then sometimes, like, if we see someone that's like upset or something, we say, oh gosh, that, you know. But again, that may not be the kind of person you've got to be scared of. You know what I mean? So it's so weird. But it could be this calm guy like the Ted Bundy that looked good, and he had a cast on, and he was, you know, but and somebody would say, oh, look at that nice guy. He just needs some help to his car, right? He needs someone to do this. But then he's going to do the most brutal thing, and maybe some guy that just looked kind of gruff or whatever, and someone would be like, oh, I'm scared of that guy. So it would be interesting if somebody didn't, you know, have any idea, and then could be put in a situation with two guys like that and see which one they would be more scared of. It. I can guarantee you it's probably going to be the one that looks, maybe had an outburst or maybe looks scary, but a guy that looks good, and then he makes himself in a vulnerable position with like a mask or a sling. That's like, did you ever see the movie The Vanishing?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, yeah, you should see it, because it's kind of along the lines of the Ted Bundy. The guy has his arm in a sling, and he takes Sandra Bullock, and Kiefer Sutherland is in it. But it's a really good movie. But it's the same kind of thing where the person thinks the person's vulnerable, their arm's in a sling, but they're not injured at all. You know.
Ted Bundy is. My God, Ted Bundy is, to me, the archetypal serial killer who kills solely for the pleasure that he gets from the act. Because that was a guy who was obviously, you know, he wouldn't struggle, right, with the opposite gender to get attention. He was quite charismatic.
Right.
He didn't. You can't say that he was suffering, you know, he never got enough attention.
Well, he had certain, you know, things with the mother, which is something that John Douglas says, you know, all of these serial killers have an issue with the mother. Somewhere along the line, there's an issue with the mother. And now, well, his sister was his mother, right? But he didn't find that out, and, you know, that. So there was an issue there with the mother, which could mean why he took things out on women, and especially young women. Maybe he thought, you know, were his mother. Maybe he thought, oh, look, these young women, they're wearing these things. Maybe that was like my mother, and she got herself pregnant, and she had me, and then she hid it, you know. So there is a lot of stuff with the mother. And just like Kemper had issues with his mother, and, you know, to who they go after, and like this Golden State killer guy. I'm watching that on HBO, that documentary.
Is he being convicted yet?
Oh yeah, and they had like days and days and days. He took a plea of victim statements, and boy, I've never seen like so many victim statements in there, and I do want to watch them again now that I've watched the documentary and they have some of the people in there. Yeah, because that's crazy.
He was another one that was found due to the improvements in the DNA lab testing, right?
Yep, but he was one that he was a scary guy. The neighbors said, you know, he was yelling and stuff. He wasn't a nice guy. He was not a quiet family type guy, and that's about him. And neither was Son of Sam. Was not a quiet guy. He was screaming for the dog to stop barking, and so.
Oh, he shot the dog, didn't he?
Did he? Yeah. He just. All I know is they shut up. He was not a nice guy, and not a quiet guy.
Here's a random thought here. I think this was quite a big case worldwide over here in Scotland. Do you remember the Dunblane massacre of the kids? The guy that shot the kids in a school. I think it was in the 90s. Do you remember that?
I'm not sure. So tell me about it.
So this was a guy, I think he was in his 50s, and he ran boys' clubs, which were kind of like Boy Scouts type things.
Okay.
But he would go around all the schools to try and get the teachers and parents to allow their kids, and it was always boys, to go on trips with him,
Right.
And this was in the days, you couldn't really get away with this now, but this was back in the days before better regulation, and they weren't quite as strict. And gradually, I think there was a few accusations about him. I think he turned out to be a paedophile. But there was, once the accusations started, and parents started investigating and things, he was struggling to get the work.
Mm-hmm.
And he was having all these arguments with different schools and different bodies. And eventually he just blew, and he went to a school and he shot dozens of kids, I think it was. It was a huge case over here at the time. But what's funny about it is I was due, because he came to my school, and I still remember there was, because he would go to the schools and do a little session in the actual gymnasium where you'd all be running around and climbing up frames and doing forward rolls and everything. And I even remember at the time because he made all the kids strip down just to their shorts, without any tops on. And I remember thinking that was really weird, even at that age. I think I must have been about 12 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thomas Hamilton, that's the guy's name, Glitter. So anyway, he actually, and I still remember this, he came to my house and sat there with my parents.
Oh my God.
Going over what this trip was going to be all about, and obviously trying to persuade my parents to let me go on this trip.
Oh.
And I still remember sitting there in the living room. And
how old were
luckily,
you? A teenager? Or?
I think I was about 12.
Uh-huh.
I think. Maybe younger, maybe 10, 11. But turned out, after he left, my parents were like, "No, you're not going on this trip. There's something weird about this guy."
Mm-hmm.
Thank God. But I remember one of my friends ended up going on the trip, and he ended up calling his parents halfway through the trip, crying and screaming, about this because of what the guy was making them all do. I don't think it was anything sexual, but there was something dodgy going on. So he had to get his parents to come up and get him, Yeah, it's just crazy. Just when you were talking before about, you don't know who you're walking past, who you're sitting next to at times.
Wow.
Well, yeah, I sometimes forget that. He was actually in my living room talking to my parents.
So what happened to him? He
shot the kids in the school and then shot himself. So he was one of these types that just didn't want to face the consequences. A coward.
Right. And how many? Do you remember how many that ended up that he?
It was a good few. I'm just looking it up here. But there was a band that came out with a song, "Knocking on Heaven's Door." They used a Bob Dylan song. He gave them permission to use the song.
Mm-hmm.
16 children it was.
Oh wow.
1996.
Okay.
Yes, Yeah, so it happened a good few years after he was trying to get me to go on the trip and all that.
Crazy.
But yeah, crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot of I know I when Jay Bells was here, we watched the one case, I forget where it was but it was over there in the UK, and it was the one that the girl disappeared and she was pretending the girl was missing, but the girl was in a mattress.
Oh,
Do you remember that one?
is that the young guy
It was.
that did that?
Yeah, the girl was the mother. She was, I think she was like in trouble with social services over there, right? DFS or whatever you called it over there. And she had a little girl. I think she had red hair, and she was about 6 or 7 years old. And she went missing one day, and the mother was flipping out that her daughter was missing, and somebody thought something was amiss, and her boyfriend was just playing video games. But it ended up, I think, that she was at the boyfriend's uncle's house, and she was in a mattress or a box spring. Bella Mac, Shannon Matthews. Do you know that?
It rings a bell, yeah.
Rings.
Is that?
Yeah, she hit her, and I'm trying to remember what the purpose was that she hit her. Was that what was she doing that for, Bella Mac? Was she going to get what was the point of her doing that again?
I definitely know this case, but I'd need to look it up.
Yeah, it was a UK one, Ginger.
Sassy says I'm showing my age. I'm 43.
She's out of prison now. Okay. What was she doing it for?
For money.
Is that?
That's what
Did she say for money?
Calcutta says.
Okay. Yeah, that was a weird. Oh, the reward money. Okay, yeah, all right.
Oh, is Karen the mother?
Yeah, they said Mother Karen. Yeah.
Is she the one that went on TV pleading and things?
Yeah.
And the cops kind of knew it was her. They were kind of setting her up.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, she was.
I'm also fascinated by the Madeleine McCann case that Bella's bringing up there.
What do you think about that guy? Do you think that guy really had something to do with it, or are they just looking for someone to take the fall so they don't have to pour any money into this case anymore?
I've not looked into the new suspect enough. It's been a long time since I kind of really got in depth into it. My hunch, and this is probably not a popular view, but although a lot of people think this, is that it was an accident, like an accidental overdose.
Yeah.
Either that or Madeleine was jumping on top of the sofa and trying to scream out the window and then fell behind the sofa because I think that's where the dogs hit upon the blood.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah, I mean, I think that too. I think that they gave her Benadryl or whatever, and it was either they gave her too much or something happened. Maybe she vomited or something and choked, because she couldn't wake up. And I think it was an accident, and that's why I don't believe a lot of the stuff that they put out there. And I think now they're just trying to find some way to button the case up to just stop, because they're saying like how much money they're putting into this, and I think. Okay, here's a guy that's in jail, and who knows what, it's in Germany, and maybe they've told him, we'll do this, that, and the other, you just take the rap for this. I don't know. I mean, that's my opinion.
Sounds plausible, yeah. I mean,
I don't believe
if it was
anything happened like that, But.
Yeah, I don't either. It just, there's too many little signs. And I think it was a situation where they were left with two horrible choices. and the least worst of the two choices was to come up with the narrative of the abduction,
Right.
because otherwise they were going to be, because I think they were medicating the kids, right?
Yeah, because
So-
when they went to get the other two little kids, they were like they didn't
Sound
even
asleep.
wake up, and they took a long
Yeah.
time to wake up, and yeah,
Yeah. So they knew that they would lose their kids most likely. They'd be taken off them, and they would be struck off. So they found themselves, in one sense, without a choice. And then they just had to manufacture this whole story and then go along. I mean, can you imagine the amount of strength it would take if it was a genuine accident, right?
right,
But to go through all the media, and the amount of attention that was on them.
right,
But then, when you look at how they act in all the interviews, the mother is a complete emotional wreck, and Jerry is the one that has the slight temper. So I think it would have been his strategy, his idea, and she was having to go along with it,
yeah. I don't, and just like I think too, John Benet Ramsey.
Yeah,
I think that was another situation where something happened, and they had
within
to
the
say,
family.
Yeah, and they had to say,
Yeah.
look, what are we going to do now? What's it going to do to, lose our son too, or whatever they thought, and yeah, I
Yeah, it's quite similar, actually, isn't it?
I think there's situations like that, and people, I don't know, just
Yeah.
what did they do with her? I don't know the chatterbox, but I'm just saying, it just seems like the kids were they were definitely using something to keep the kids to sleep, and it didn't even have to be. It could just be that she vomited and couldn't wake up, or and aspirated or whatever, or she just had too much, or something happened.
Does chatterbox mean, like, what did they do with
what
her
would they
body?
have done with her? Like, yeah, what would the parents have done with her? Where could she be?
Well, did the dogs not hit on the car, the rental car?
Something about in the boot of the car, right?
Yeah.
But then it would, yeah.
Yeah. That's another issue about the Madeline case. If they were just run-of-the-mill working class people, there's no way they would have got so much. They would have got treated that way by, the government and media and things. Because they were so well off, and because they were doctors and things. If they had just been, of lower class, just your average family overseas on a beach holiday,
Yeah.
I think they would have been in prison by now.
So the boot is the trunk, yes. Piece, no, yeah. So, and then someone said, yeah, if they thought it was a threat, they were never worried that the little kids were going to be taking the other two, or anybody else worried, right then and there about their kids.
Another issue that I think a lot of you guys over there, over the pond, can't believe is that it was actually part of the culture back at that time for parents to leave their kids in the house while they were out in the garden or having a barbecue or something like that, like they did, when they were at the tapas bar.
Right, yeah. Well, I mean, in the house, like we're used to that. You have a monitor, you walk around, like you can go around your house. But they were not just right outside; they were kind of a
quite
little bit
far
further
away.
Yeah. And I don't even know that she had a monitor with her.
No, she didn't.
No, she didn't.
She didn't.
So
No.
yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, didn't even have that. And and they had a lot of money, and I'm sure the hotel had some kind of. They usually have babysitters.
Like a
or something,
babysitting
right? Yeah,
facility.
So I mean,
Yeah.
why didn't just do that, or
I know.
just get someone to sit there, especially if the kids are just gonna sleep.
I know, Pam. It's crazy to think back to that time. And it was only in the UK really that it was part of the culture. I don't think that's the case now, but back then, for some reason, it was. I can remember. Out of sight, out of mind.
But they had some friends there at the dinner that did the same thing, correct? Right?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, yeah. It wasn't outrageous to do that for British people, you know?
Because they were taking turns checking each other's kids, right?
That's right.
Right? Going back up there and checking the kids.
Yeah. Yeah, because when it initially happened, before there was a lot more antagonism towards Jerry and his wife, at the time they got a lot of hate because they had left the kids, you know? But if that had been in America, it would have been even worse because that just wasn't, you know, you guys just don't do that kind of thing, right?
Right. Yeah. They didn't
especially without monitors.
Right, yeah, the monitors, right, yeah, and we have a lot of, monitors, and there was monitors back then. I mean, they didn't ask in time for his sitter, Tracy said. The other kids weren't as young, though, you don't think anyway, Robin said. Some say the checks didn't happen, like they got lazy once they started drinking.
Yeah, I heard that as well.
Yeah, and the other ones were like 2, right? The twins.
They were younger, yeah.
Yeah, and they never had any more children, right?
No.
I'm actually surprised that they're still together.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, because they look like, sometimes people could start blaming each other for that, and there's a lot, but maybe they have too much on each other. I don't know.
That goes along with the idea that it was a genuine accident. If it had been an abduction, they'd be more likely to blame each other for that. Like, you shouldn't have. Why did you leave the door unlocked? Like, why did we do this? I didn't want us to.
Right, but I think too, like, let's say one of them was more, with the Benadryl, or one of them. See, I told you got Carol. Like, you could blame for anything. I mean, like, oh my gosh, you didn't measure. I told you to use the measuring spoon, or whatever. And there's a lot of blame that comes when things like
that's
that
true,
happen,
actually. Yeah.
So even if you start out saying, okay, it's nobody's fault and this and that, but
eventually,
you could say, well, you didn't do this, or you should have done that, or why did you need to do that? Why couldn't you have just, The is embellished with her son and not let him grow up, could not see as much child issue. Oh, I think Canuck, I think you're back in the chat there. I think they're talking about Chris. Right before Madeline had woken up and been afraid and told her parents I wouldn't leave my child alone for that reason, forgetting being abducted. I say, hey Pepper, thanks for becoming a deputy. The timeline itself doesn't add up for Bella. Yeah, toddler couldn't climb the Eiffel Tower in a blizzard and pitch dark. Only Pinkies had turned back. Oh, could climb, Tammy says, yeah. And then someone said, right, that little stuffed toy that she carried, that she washed it or something.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is weird and not right.
Yeah, you wouldn't wash it, would you?
Right, if it was the last thing your child was holding and stuff.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, Ginger, the amount of money spent on the case is astronomical.
See, that's why I don't know why I'm just thinking that you just want to button it up and find a way to,
Did you watch the Netflix documentary,
Yeah,
yeah.
I did. Yeah.
It was definitely interesting.
Yeah, just, it was just like another one I don't think we're gonna get any real answers, like just like jumping and just like just some cases just I think it's there and it's whatever for whatever reason.
And it's gone.
Yeah. It's not gonna happen. Although she did laundry, the dogs still hit on Kate's pants. Alice said. She talks about washing it in some interview, I think. Yeah, I know I heard that she did somewhere, because someone said, I can't believe she did that.
I'm just going to mute for a sec.
Sure. Actually, that is very strange with the cat toy. Yeah, Jetta. So much. She sat in the bedroom, deleting calls and messages from her mobile phone. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of times what they do after, just like so many, I was thinking of someone the other day, but definitely with Chris, like, and even in the interrogation, like somebody would say, look, we got to go. I want to go look. I want to go do something. You just want to be on the ground and look for your kids and for your family. He never asked when anybody came in, like, oh my gosh, did someone see them? Did any news? Nothing. You've seen a video a year ago about this before the Netflix things. Which one are you talking about, Blissful? If a crime isn't solved in the first week or two, it's rarely solved. Kant and John Bonet, 2 examples. I worry Suzanne more few. Yeah, I mean that is going a long time. But someone said the house is for sale now. And where is she, where do you think she is? I mean, I remember Frank Rusak saying that you could throw anything over those cliffs in Colorado and they would never be found again. He didn't need to. He knew.
Even when Chris came back to the house and someone was mentioning that they go and check the swing park or a swimming pool or something.
Oh, yeah. Which
Chris was just like, yeah, maybe.
Right,
It's
yeah,
just
they
so
give it away
obvious.
too much. And, and I think that the big thing was that her car was there and the car seats were there and she wasn't the kind of person, and the EpiPen, and she's this kind of person that would never leave without that. So I think he was so stuck right there and then, trying to explain it away, but I don't know, just not. I think he totally, if he told anything, I would have loved to hear him say what he had planned to do when he went back to the house, had he not been caught, Like, what was his plan?
What the full plan was.
Yeah, definitely. What was his plan? Because he had to do something with her car and the car seats and her purse and all that. So.
And see when he first went into the garage and he jumped straight to the car.
Yeah.
Was he looking for something or did he grab something there?
Yeah, it might have been a wedding ring because that was like one of the first things he said he found when he ran in there. And maybe he didn't remember, like maybe when he was taking her to the car, maybe he thought, oh gosh, she has her wedding ring on. Let me just put it in here. I'll get it later. And, then wanted to do that. So it's probably the ring.
He was definitely on a mission to do something quickly because he didn't just go around and open the door. He ran inside.
He ran inside and did something. So, yeah, he did something. And I mean, and when the cops were there, I mean, there was a blue glove in the corner, and I mean, there was stuff around there that he didn't get to. And I noticed when they asked him for the picture, he walked right in the room, right in the corner where that glove was. But the cop was behind him, so he said, oh yeah, and then the picture was over there. But I don't know, it's crazy. Just his actions are not crazy revenge. Case, which case? The strangest thing is what he had his hands over his head at Nate's house watching that.
Oh my God,
That was
that
ridiculous.
is.
That was so ridiculous.
Yeah, especially to watch it back, knowing what happened. I
Right.
mean, that was, people say fight or flight. He was desperate to run away there. He was panicking.
Yeah.
He could not stay. He couldn't stand still.
Right. Yeah. I think that he just had to put his hands on his head, and then when the baby came up in that American Horror Story, and they said, "Oh, she's pregnant."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how simple his mind was working. That just reminded him,
Right.
And he thought, oh God, I better say that because that's what someone that cared would say.
Right. Yeah.
He had to be reminded through the TV to sound like a caring father that was worried about the fact that Shannon was also pregnant.
But even as nervous as he looked, but just imagine if you did that, right? And then you find out your neighbor has this security camera stuff that you've never seen before, right?
God.
And the cop is right there. A normal person would probably be 100,000 times even more nervous than Chris. So the fact that he was able just to be like, yeah, my lunchbox, and he's like,
Yeah.
that's even something in itself. And that the way he didn't even look at it. Like, did you notice he didn't even look like you would be like, I would be like, if I did something like that and somebody had the camera, I would be like, crap, what are they going to show? Oh my gosh, what's going to show? You'd be looking at that. And it's like he could just deny it. And he kind of moved away and looked at his phone. And it was just so weird.
He was so nervous, maybe not as nervous as a normal person would be, but he was so nervous that he just had to do something with his hands. They were either on his head or they were on his phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because Chris has such a lack of empathy, he probably wasn't able to pick up that the cop and the neighbor were looking right at him and could see something was up, right?
Right.
Because he, like a classic narcissist, he just doesn't have the empathy to pick that up. That's why he was probably able to not go absolutely nuts.
Right. Yeah.
I
don't think I could even stay in there. I'd be like, I have to go get something. I'll be right back. And then, I wonder if it was really bad, because I just think if you did something like that and somebody's got this footage, I really don't think I could stay like that. Somebody else, go check it out, see how bad it is, because I don't know.
Yeah, because he doesn't know at that point what's going to come up on the footage.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you'd be like an absolute freaking wreck. I don't know. It's just like, I mean, I have more like, have you ever turned on your Facebook Live by accident and you're like, crap, my Facebook Live went on, and you're like, oh my gosh, what did that show, or that time when I'll never forget. I got home from doing a live in the car, right? And I thought my phone was off. And I went upstairs to take a shower and everything. And I had one of my mods calling me. And she's like, Carolyn, your live is still on. And I'm like, oh my gosh, right? What are you telling me? And there's no way I could have looked at that. And then, thank goodness she said, no, it's on. But just for that split second, if somebody would have said it was on, there's no way. I would have had to have somebody else. I'm like, no, just it scares the crap out of you. So I just don't know how he was just able to just stay there. It's like,
did you get that horrible feeling in your stomach?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I was like, Jess, tell me, what happened? Because I thought it, I have it it's in my freaking linen closet. Are you telling me it was on the whole time? I'm like, oh my gosh.
Or have you ever done that classic thing where you mean to text someone, right?
Right.
And you've maybe spoken to someone else just before that, and you've got the wrong person's name in your head.
Yeah.
And then you're meaning to send it to someone else, and you might be talking about the other person, and then you accidentally send it to them, or an email to the wrong person.
Yes.
And you can't stop it.
Right.
I think we've all done that.
Yeah. You're like, crap. my husband did that. He sent something that he was sending to my son about my sister doing something really bad to my sister. Oh my gosh, yes. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh
It's
God.
crazy.
And you don't know what to do. You want to
Right,
just
you-
like
you
break
kinda
your
wanna
computer or
climb
break
in
your
a
phone.
hole. Yeah, like, oh my gosh. What am I gonna do? Yeah. Yeah, so bad. But yeah, I think everybody. I was just talking to a friend of mine, and she's like, because we were talking about that, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I've done it so many times." She's like, send something to the wrong person, or it's just nuts. Yeah,
Exactly, Lola. Butt dialing can ruin a relationship.
that's why I have a code. Like you can't just call out on your phone. You have to put the code on, so you just can't
Yeah.
dial. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, yeah, but that's wow, so scary. Just, somebody did that recently around here. One of our friends, he didn't know he hit Facebook Live. He's on there and he's talking to his wife like, "What do we have so much stuff in this refrigerator for?" And like thinking, but it wasn't anything bad. But oh my gosh, yeah, that's Facebook Live. I have seen people accidentally turn that on, and scary.
Yeah.
It's
Modern technology, right?
right. And I think someone on YouTube or something, they didn't know they were live and they were like screaming at their kids and doing all that. And everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know she's live," and oh my gosh, yeah, it was bad. But that's why it's like, they should be like 10 different styles. Are you sure you want to go live? Yes, Sometimes they make things they make us click so many things for like stupid things. And not enough things like Facebook Live, I think, is like really easy to just hit that live by accident and you'll be on.
It works in reverse as well a little bit. Do you remember I deleted my channel?
Yeah,
Yeah, well, that was just a temper tantrum, right?
right.
And I didn't realize how easy it was to do. It's literally pressing one button and then typing in your email address or something, right?
Right.
So,
Yeah, right.
as I say, I was having a temper tantrum and I did that and I regretted it almost instantly.
Yeah, I
And
remember. And
You remember, yeah?
But I like it's so weird. But if you go to, let's say, delete just a video on YouTube, or you even make a change, not even delete it, like you put a new tag in there, and you do it through their studio, it goes, "Do you realize that once you alter this video, it's and you're adding a tag, and it makes you check all these boxes and stuff. It's crazy." That's what I mean. There's some stuff, you don't need to.
Yeah. So they should have more double checks for
right,
when
like,
you
hey,
delete
maybe
the channel.
take a time out. Press the timeout
Yeah.
button and maybe come
Have a
back
think
to
about it.
Yeah, or
And
give
I
you 24
tried.
hours to reactivate it, or some
Yeah.
time, right? Cooling off period.
And I've always been a small channel, but I was up near 1,000 at the time, and I had a lot of videos. And
right.
like an idiot, I hadn't backed them up, so I lost so much
Oh, gosh.
material,
That would be
And
horrible.
I tried so hard to get it back from YouTube, but you know what YouTube's like.
Oh, gosh,
You're
yeah.
trying to deal with a bot.
Yeah.
And it was at the time when when
Yeah.
the thingy started,
Right.
so it was even harder.
Yeah. Yeah. So how are you doing? Are you getting your subscribers back, or?
Well, I've just hit the magic 100, so
Oh, wow.
I'm actually
really?
I'm kind of enjoying because I just started it a couple of weeks ago, but I'm actually enjoying starting again
Yeah.
in a sense, because I made a lot of mistakes first time around. I
Uh-huh.
really did, and I've come to realize my own flaws, my own faults. So I took a long time out and came back a couple of weeks ago, and my own flaws and faults and my desires to be better, to be a better person.
Right.
So that's what it's all about. So yeah, I'm enjoying the process.
Yeah, I'm trying to get your link over here. Why do I hold on a minute. I know. This Zoom call.
Pam.
Oh, I think I've got it now. Okay. Yes, this is You now, right? Yeah, 100. Oh, magic! You're actually 100. Yeah, I'm gonna put Rabbit Dog's channel in the chat, and
Awesome.
you
Thanks,
guys
Caroline.
can check it out, subscribe, show him some love.
Spread the love.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've got a few. I've got maybe 5 or 6 videos, like some short films and songs and stuff.
Oh, were you guys buffered for a minute? You're back now. Hi, Crafts by Diane. How are you? Hi, Brian Clan. How are you? Hey, Brian.
Oh,
Clan.
Brian Clan.
Here. Brian Clan. Hi, Lily G. Oh, you got 101 now, Gilby says.
There we go. Yeah.
There you go. Hi, Ulala. How are you? How are ya? Let's see. Bella.
Thanks, guys, for the subs.
Hey, Glitter Parade. Alma. Where's Augie? Did Augie get in here? Peace Niddle, hi. It's called Rabid Dog. I just, Glam Dolly, did you hear? I'll put the link in again for you.
If you're searching just a name, you may have to scroll down a fair bit.
Oh, Rabid Dog. I don't know if he's met Penelope.
Who's Penelope?
Oh, it's Scooter's creepy-ish kind of doll that talks.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh no, Danielle, it's not Rabid Dog TV. That's a different channel.
No, yeah. It's the link that I put in there, Danielle.
I don't think I caved to that creator at all, Goose. If you actually heard me on the panel, I most definitely didn't cave to her.
The link, oh wait, it doesn't, Julie, wait, let me see. I went to his channel and it takes me there. You've got 138 now, Rabbit.
Wow.
It takes me there, Julie.
Yeah, that's the right link
Yeah.
that you've just put in there now.
Yeah, try it again, Julie. It should look like this. Here, I'll pull it over on the screen. Should look like that.
You see the icon that's on here as well.
Yeah. That's what it should look like, what's up there, okay?
A little red dog.
You got 141 now.
Wow.
Let's see if we can get it to 150. We play these games all the time with them.
I promise I won't delete it again.
Oh my gosh. I did the first link and it worked. Oh, Karen H. Okay. They should all work because they're the same. They're the same. But that's the one you're looking for. Yeah, here. That, yeah, there it is again. You need 150 to move on, right?
150 is the magic number.
Mystic? Oh, what is it tonight? Oh, it's been a bunch of stuff tonight. Bunch of discussion. You got 150 now.
Wow. I can't believe how quickly that goes up.
So
2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks to get to 100, and then in 2 minutes it goes up by 50.
yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of people in the chat tonight. So
I agree, Deborah.
to get a new question. To get it. Oh, to
Thanks,
get a new
Karen.
question. Oh, a question. What is? Let's see. Okay. Name. Hold on. You might need glasses. Name someone famous, real or fictional, named Mother, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 answers out of 100 people answered. Name
Mother
something.
Dearest?
Nope. Let's see. Chat. Name something. Name someone famous, real or fictional, named Mother. So it's Mother something. Mother Jones, Nope, Sharon. Mother Goose, yes. Mother Goose is the number one answer. Mother Mary, nope. Mother Dearest, no. Mother Teresa, yes, that's number
Mother
2.
Teresa, yeah.
Yeah, Mother Teresa. Mother Hubbard, yes, Jen Doe. That is number 4. Let's see if anybody said the other one. Mother Mary. Okay, I don't see. There's 2 more. Mother Earth, close, Tammy, close. Close. But no cigar on that one. Mother Hen, no. Mother Nature, yes, Crafts by Diane. But there's one more. Mother Load, close.
Mother Mary.
Superior, no. No Mother Mary. Mother May, no.
Someone says Mother Superior.
Yeah, no. Mother Love, you got it, Nora. That's all of them.
I'm always terrible at quizzes.
That's it.
Hey, Kindness Cake.
Hey, Kindness Cake. Hi, Red Rover. So that was fun. Ginger Mystic. Mother Love, yeah. Mystic. What is that? Love, what is that? Oh, you don't know what love is, Alma? That's a song by, what was it, Foreigner? I want to know what love is. Is that? Are they the ones? Mother. Kindness Cake. I always feel like cake when Kindness Cake comes in. Hey, you're in Scotland, Ravid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You see a lot of this is stupid. West Highland White Terriers are very popular there.
Yeah, my grandmother used to have one.
Yeah, and is it? What about which one? And the Scottish Terriers? Which one is more popular for a pet?
There's a Highland Terrier.
The it's the West Highland White Terrier, and then there's the Scottish Terrier, which comes in 2 different colors, black and it's almost like a white.
Oh, I think the white one's the most popular.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not an expert, but yeah, that's my perception. Caroline.
Yeah, because the Scottish Terrier, like, tried to find one over here, and it's like I keep saying they're going out of style or something but the Westie, which I have, and they're
Oh, you got a Westie, have you?
Oh yeah, they're much more popular than the Scottish Terrier.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
I used to have a Jack Russell when we were living in Ireland.
Oh yeah.
Those things have energy.
Oh yeah, they do. That's what they tell you here. Don't get one. My son just got a dachshund, and I thought he was going to be but the dachshund is so laid back and such a chill dog. So it's like perfect for them.
Yeah.
He's really chill. He's so cute. Oh gosh, he looks like the dog.
To see,
the dog's what?
It's good to see Kindness Cake there.
Oh yeah, it is.
She's a good egg.
Yeah. I said that I always feel like cake when Kindness Cake comes in. Cake, anything considered cake? I was wondering why you don't go back to Desi's breeder. Because they don't have any puppies, and because that was like really scary. I'm not kidding, Ivy Lynn. That was even though I guess we would if that, but it was kind of scary. Not gonna lie. Scotties are strong personalities like little old men. Don't you have to walk Jack Russell's like 3 miles a day or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think everybody was getting those when Fraser was really popular, Fraser, because
Oh,
he
yeah.
had one of those, and then that happens with like any dog that becomes, and then usually they're dogs that either require a lot of exercise or they're not like the best dog. I know like Chihuahuas were doing it with the Taco Bell came out with all the commercials, and everybody was getting a Chihuahua, and same kind of thing with the Jack Russell, and then they just kept saying, oh my gosh, the Jack Russell, you better know what you're getting into. They're very high energy. They need a lot of, exercise and a lot of stimulation. Otherwise, they're going to be, prone to
It shows
be.
you the advertisement works anyway.
Yeah.
when things are on TV.
Yeah, because everybody wants something that they say, oh, I want a dog just like that, and it didn't come and do tricks and stuff, especially that's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, but do they have over there? They have like the designer, the Labradoodles, and
Yeah.
those mixes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so funny that they call those designer breeds now. Like in the past, if somebody's purebred poodle ever got bred by if it didn't matter, they would be like flipping out because that kind of dirties the whole line. Even if now it's like they just made it into a designer breed and they charge. It's so weird how times change.
I just hope they keep it to animals and we don't start getting designer babies.
Yeah.
That's a scary thought.
Yeah. Right.
I don't think it's too far away.
No, remember Dolly the sheep? They cloned.
That's right.
Yeah, Dolly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's... Can you ship mommy a dog?
A dog.
That's the thing that's happened with the Ickies. It's really strange, but a lot of breeders have stopped really because you would think they wouldn't because that would be like a business for them, especially one. But I don't know. There's like seems like there's a lot that stopped, and then even say like it's very strange. And,
It's such a crazy time, isn't it? With
Yeah.
the lockdown.
right, but I think too, my girlfriend she says her real estate business is booming, and that is one thing that is booming now.
I've heard that, yeah. Online sales, yeah.
And well, not even that. She says I wear my mask. I have open houses because she's in Arizona where it's really really hot. I mean, hot market, not and hot temperature as well. But she's like, it's 48 hours on the market and it's gone. That's what they're dealing with. And she's like, I just don't want to see another crash because that happened in 2006 and then it crashed. But right now it's like all over. Stuff is just selling as fast as they put it up. It's sold.
Yeah. I should really I do a lot of painting, and I've been meaning to get my website up and running and all the social media attached to that and start basically selling my paintings, right?
Right.
It's probably a good time to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. There will be a crash, no doubt. Belmax says. Oh my gosh, just thought it was about the Watts case, or maybe. Yeah, it was, Cynthia. We went through that. We've been on for a while, so you have to go back to the beginning and you'll be able to hear that part of it. And then we went on to different serial killers, and you never know where it's going to go. But if you want to hear that part of it, you have to go back to the beginning. You have to rewind back.
There's loads on Chris Watts
Yeah.
and True Crime.
It's there. It's there. Ryan Clan, your vet bills are not cute. What kind of dog do you have? Carolyn, you have a Shih Tzu? Or
Shih Tzu.
I think so. Rabid dog should and get a Teespring or something like that as well. Yeah. We used to sell wall art and Etsy. was a great place to find buyers. I know they take a cut, but for me it was worth it for the traffic.
If people tell me not to use Etsy for selling art anymore, I think it's been saturated in some sense.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You slam RN. You have a Westy Pooh?
Dogs are definitely better pets than cats.
Oh, you better not say that in here. This is Sharon. I'll kill you.
Oh dear.
I'm a dog person too, but I mean, even though we had a cat that was kind of like a dog for a long time, but it's...
It identifies as a dog.
Yeah, it identified it. It did, actually. Hi, Potter. You have owned 3 Shih Tzus? The chatterbox.
You think there'll ever be a case like the Chris Watts case again, in terms of the amount of attention that it's got?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, look at all the YouTubers now, right? And just the way that, like, Micah Stauffer, something happened. It wasn't that, but it was this big rehoming thing, and how crazy that was, right? But can you imagine if one of these, especially like even like the lifestyle ones, because you know what I think we're going to see, and I can tell you a lot just from in the past, and me being a blogger, what I did see a lot of is when a lot of the people started blogging and their families were small, those bloggers that were very, very popular, well, as they went into their midlife, they got divorced. And then there's one, like I showed the other night, and she was in Australia, and her husband, I think they had like 7 kids. They were like an off-the-grid kind of family, right? Like one of these, and he says he jumped in the river with like their 3-month-old baby or 8-month-old baby, and he said that he lost the baby. He came back, and then in Australia, they don't have long sentences. So, it was that they said, well, yes, they think that he intentionally did it to murder the baby, but he was on some kind of altering substance, and it was a big thing. And she was a pretty big blogger. And so, yeah, there was something like that. But I kind of feel that you have all of these, what I call them, the white couch bloggers. And they're all right now in this idyllic phase, like with their husband and their young children, and they're having a baby after baby after baby, and everything's about that. But I think it's going to be natural that some of them, as they go on, and usually around like midlife, there's going to be something that happens. And now, is something going to happen to them to that extent? I don't know. But if it did, can you imagine... what that would be like.
Yeah.
It's...
You just have to look at the odds.
Yeah, because I think more and more people are going to be putting themselves on social media. So just as you see with celebrities, and there's like, like that Tarzan guy and the son killed the wife, or just think about like cases like that. Well, if you have all of these people on YouTube and the ones that put themselves out there, and it gets more and more and more every single year, well, then undoubtedly something
eventually
is going to happen somewhere in that, whether, we've already had like 2 of the big bloggers, the ones that have like cheating scandals, and they were like, just not, that was not supposed to happen. There was one, I was going to ask them, there was one I think that had like quadruplets, and they were on there, and like John and Kate +8, right? That happened. And all of that craziness. And for a while, they were like, such a favorite family, and everything was great until it wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a good point. Because they're already hooked in to the Matrix. Yeah. So if something was to happen, then, it would blow up, most likely.
Right. So I think, I think undoubtedly you're going to see different things happen. And you have to realize, too, like a lot of these people that are living their lives basically 24/7, like with their whole families, and that's why like the 8 passengers went under such scrutiny and stuff. It's just they're not like, celebrities have so many agents and press agents that handle all this stuff and advise them of what to do. But then people on YouTube don't have that for the most part, unless they are like a professional YouTube, and they have producers and stuff. But, it's hard. Like, there was one lady, and I mean, like, she was crying over like negative comments, and she was like a mom vlogger, and she was like just torn to pieces over them. Whereas somebody, if she had a friend, would have said, "Don't worry about this," they got rid of them for her, and so I think when you're dealing with that too, and they don't even know how to like handle some of this, and maybe when some of them get a little bit of celebrity, or the husband or the wife, and I think that can change the whole dynamic. So I think we are going to see things happening because so many people are getting out there in a way that, it's sometimes maybe they're not ready for that. Or
yeah, that's you're right, because like I've often said this, the accumulated knowledge that's been put in to advancing technology, it's not like one person did that, right? It's a collective,
right?
And we as a society have not yet caught up with that digital advancement.
Yeah.
So we've not quite evolved yet to know how to handle it.
Yeah.
Even from my own experience on a really small channel, I can see how it can affect you a little too much at times.
Yeah.
Especially,
like crazy,
especially when you're, if there's something personal going on as well, it can just, you can lose your rationality for periods of time unless you hook out there for a bit, Yeah. So I can see that.
And I can, and this other, like, just speaking of this other vlogger, I forget, they were tremendously, it was, what was it, growing with the Shaytards or something. Some people probably know them. I mean, they were like one of the explosive on YouTube from the beginning. And then there was they were this, I think they were Mormon, if I remember correctly. And, so very into God and everything. And then there was this cheating scandal with the husband. And it just didn't fit the dynamic that everybody had come to know them. And at first people couldn't believe it. And then, so I can even see if someone is, and we have that other dad, that the husband and the father and the stepmother are playing these horrible pranks on the kids to the point that they were considered even abusive, and then that channel was taken off. Or you have a lot of things. So I think, let's just say some family is really, really popular and they're making a lot of money and they've given up their other jobs because they're doing so well. They have millions of subscribers. That if something does go wrong in there, how much will that couple say, look, something is wrong with us or something, right? I don't want to be with you anymore. But we have a business here and we have to put up, or, like, what are we going to do until, and I think that we're going to be faced with that too, because that's a dilemma for them, right? Especially when they've given everything up. And that's what they have is that, and that's who they are, and that's why people are tuning in. Yeah, I mean, they could take a go, but then which one would get it? I'm seeing. So there's a lot of things that I think we're going to see.
So that would force them to stay together, and it might cause more conflict.
At least in, maybe not even together. Like, that couple, maybe you don't know them. They were, it was, what was it, Flipper Flop, and they were together as a couple, and they had 2 little kids, and then it ended up that I don't know whether she cheated on him or something, but they decided to stay together. They're not together, and they're with other people, but they've decided to keep their show together and to work together on this show because that was what people were tuning in for, and they decided that was their business. That would So, but I think it's harder for people because if they're not going to be in the same home, and if they're going to try, okay, well, maybe we'll show like 1 week it's you with the kids, 1 week it's me. But I think we are going to see different dynamics because it's,
Yeah, it'd be interesting to just watch it all unfold.
Yeah.
Hopefully from the outside.
Right. And I mean, like already, you have some people with speculation on some of these couples and they say, oh my gosh, well, that doesn't look right. Maybe I think, that's not going right there. And I mean,
People looking for signs of things, right?
Yeah. And then when any little thing, they'll go in there and get on that. Yeah. Christina just dumped. Oh, she just dumped. Oh, the guy she was with? Uh-huh. Yeah, I don't know. It's just scariest true crime book you ever read was about Israel Keys.
Oh, that guy is unreal. Israel Keys, oh my God.
Yeah.
That's one cold person.
Yeah, there's so many books. Somebody told me to read a book recently about the John Bonet case. Like, I don't know. I'm just like to me, like anytime they come up with a documentary on that or something, I'm like, why? You're not going to tell me anything new. Like there's nothing there. It's just I just resolved. It's never going to be solved. And I think, like we said before, it's something to do with that. But I don't know. Some people get so invested in case they'll watch anything on it. Even over and over without seeing anything new.
Without any resolution.
Yeah, just like, I don't know. But sometimes I get like really aggravated with that because I'm just like, solve it or don't, or just like, I can't.
What, as I've said many times, what angers me about an obsession with a case is when particular creators play on that natural interest people have in particular cases.
New evidence, or we got this one.
Yeah.
We're going to do something. We're going to catch someone. Yeah,
that makes my blood boil.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with talking about or analysing a solved case.
Right.
It's all about the intention behind it, whether it's genuine or not,
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, and the family has said that for that, it's not talking about it, it's just about conspiracy or saying that, it's not closed and it's that and it's, it's that kind of stuff because it's just, just ridiculous and it's some exploitation of the victims for...
It is.
Yeah.
It just simply is. And it's also exploitation of people's genuine care for Shanann and the family.
Right.
They're exploiting that.
Right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I agree. But, wow, 3:24, so I'm going to call it. And I have to go to the doctor tomorrow.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. It was fun. It was
interesting.
It was a good discussion. It started somewhere and it went all over. But I think everybody enjoyed it. And again, I'll put Rabbit's link in there again. And if you haven't subscribed,
oh yeah, thanks for that.
Please go there and subscribe and see what's going on there. Let's see, 169. So getting there.
Getting there.
Get him. Yeah. And let's see, Rob and Liz. Yeah. Very interesting. Good night, Eileen. Good night, Eileen. Come on, Eileen. Okay. Good night, Eileen. Beverly, yeah, nice to see you, Beverly, and Tammy and everybody. But because I do have it early. Well, it's not that early, but I have to run to the doctor just for my checkup for my thyroid and. So I'll check out what's down there in ways of if there's any of that new balls or anything down there when I'm there. And I will see you sometime. Maybe I'll check in from the road tomorrow, but then I'll see you guys again tomorrow night, God willing. And God bless. Please pray for Sophia and prayers for all of you guys that need them. God bless. Love you guys. Thank you for coming, Rabbit, and I'll get us out of here. Thank you so much.
Thanks to everyone in the chat as well.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye, guys.